and play today in a desperation game against the New Jersey Devils. Hi, everybody. Along with John Davidson, I'm Mike Emmerich. Let's not have any suspense. Is he playing?
Yes, he's scheduled to play. In fact, he's scheduled to be in the starting lineup, Mike. Now, he has not stepped on the ice just yet. This was in warm-up, and he did take about half the warm-up. Never took too many of the line rushes. Went off with 10.5 minutes to go in the warm-up itself. Went to the locker room to be checked out and decide whether or not he could play. He's decided to play, and I think in a few moments here, when he steps on the ice, there's going to be a huge ovation. He changes the entire structure of his own team. I don't know how much he'll play. I don't know how much the Devils are going to try and bump him. He's had the groin injury, and it'll be a very interesting watch.
The Penguins have been able to win 2 games without him in the lineup, and they've had some help along the way from a couple of real strong players.
Yeah, more than anything else, it's been Alexei Kovalev. He does have 7 points in this series, and he's the type of player, with Pittsburgh playing the rope-a-dope without Jagr, they were just trying to counter once in a while and try to find offense, and all of a sudden Kovalev could explode and get something done. So Jagr's back, Kovalev playing. All of a sudden you think in this game the Penguins may have a little more offense.
Yeah, it's been top-heavy during the 14 goals they've scored over these 5 games. The Devils have the same number of goals. They go about it a little differently, though.
4 lines, and they come at you hard. And they've gotten better as the series has gotten better, and so has this line. Breland on the left side, a great big nasty center, and Holik in the middle, and on the right side a very nasty aggressive forward in McKay, and they've all played really well. Breland scoring, McKay's been immovable around the front of the net. Holik is so strong, and when he plays a belligerent game, he's a great player. And I think the Penguins have had a lot of trouble with this line deep in the Penguin zone, and I think we'll see more of that. The more nasty and belligerent that Holik and McKay play, the better they play. They're great players when they show up in that bad mood, and they've been in a bad mood lately.
From nasty and belligerent, we'll go to the very polite Susie Colbert, who will have the highlights of last night's contest between the Avalanche and the Sharks right after this.
Inside the Fox Network Center, 2 more series could be decided this afternoon as round 1 of the playoffs winds down. Hi everyone, I'm Susie Colbert. Before the puck drops in Pittsburgh, a quick update. Colorado, the highly favored Western Conference powerhouse, found themselves on thin ice. Squandering a 2-0 series lead, they appeared to lack passion as San Jose rode a wave of momentum into Game 5, series tied at 2. Steve Shields making his first playoff start for the Sharks. Second period, Colorado up 1-0. Avalanche power play. Theo Fleury knocks in the rebound for his first goal of the playoffs. He had 2 on the night. The Land scored 3 goals in 2.5 minutes in the second. Expect Mike Vernon to start Game 6. So Colorado, now up 3 games to 2, is the first home team to win a game in this series. Game 6 tomorrow in San Jose. As always, we'll see you at intermission with scores and highlights. Right now, let's get you back to the Igloo, where Mike Emmerich and John Davidson are set to call Game 6 between the Penguins and the Devils.
Did this place ever explode when he stepped out on the ice? They had a sense of it when the scratches were announced by John Barbera, the public address announcer, when they passed 68 and he wasn't scratched. They had the sense of it, a big ovation, but then when they finally saw him, even larger. The Rookie of the Year of '84, Tom Barrasso, has 2 championships here, trying to get his team back even. At the other end of the ice for the New Jersey Devils, the Rookie of the Year 10 years later in '94, he has a championship in '95, and his 49th straight playoff start. Martin Brodeur, Jagr, Hrdina, and Miller start against that nasty line of Holik, Breland, and McKay.
And on top of that, Scott Stevens starts on left defense. Jagr, the right winger. It'll be interesting, I think, Mike, right off the hop here to see how Jagr skates. B, whether or not the Devils try to hit Jagr as soon as possible, and will Jagr go to the other side of the ice to maybe get away from Scott Stevens. Now, there's already been a change on defense as Dean is out there and Niedermayer's gone to the bench. 2-referee system for today's game.
Welcome Marawelli, Scapinello, Dvorsky. The standbys Dave Jackson, Brad Kovacic. Replay official Jim Weaver. Off-ice officials are from Detroit. Chipped along by McKay off the linesman's skate, and back goes Hatcher. Took a whack from Bobby Holik. Breland tried to trickle it through. Hatcher with a kneeling block, and it's on now to Kip Miller. Laid back ahead for Slager. Slager moves in, tosses to Jagr, swings one in front that's off a stick and grabbed by Brodeur.
And the first body contact, it was McKay, who is the right winger, moving across to the opposite side and bumped Jagr when Jagr made the move with the puck. Not a hard hit. Jagr had his left leg extended a little bit, and there was a jar there as Jagr talks things over with Slager. See the bump on the left hip? Not a hard one, but we'll watch and see how Jagr reacts to all this. After this hit, as Jagr took the puck from Slager, he went over to Slager and had a chat with him. Now, I don't know why, but he may have not been happy with the pass from Slager because it set him up for a body check or whatever. But certainly, Jagr and Slager had a chat on the way to the bench once the whistle sounded.
Straka with Titov on the left, Morozov on the right. Straka and Kovalev have been the huge players in the absence of Jagr in getting any kind of offensive production. The most consistent of the two has been Kovalev. Played along now by Danico, chipped off by Titov, wedged ahead for Elias. He couldn't come up with it. Dealt back out to neutral ice. 1/3 of New Jersey's goals from the beginning of February has come from the line that is out for New Jersey right now. They were assembled in early February and have played consistently since that time, despite an occasional injury that has broken the line up. Work back ahead now for Straka. Eyed up by Brad Bombardier. Trickled one through that's cut off by Niedermeyer. He's wedged off. Taken on by Straka. Straka tested by Peter Sikora. And twisting with it is Bombardier. Bangs it back the other way, and it's Patrick Elias to take it there. Played along from him by Andrusek.
Would you say that Niedermeyer is the best skating Devils defenseman?
Yes.
I think that you'll see Niedermeyer on the ice as much as possible, but when Straka's out there, he's the best skating forward.
It is Pittsburgh. It is helped to the slot for Kovalev, but this brought back out now by Elias. The speed line departs. Bobby Carpenter, part of the checking line, comes out. These are specialists who have done great blankets in their history on the star players of other teams, but they're not opposite Jagr right now. Instead, it's opposite Kovalev's line. Flip back into Alexei Kovalev, turned back on by Pandolfo. Pandolfo and Brian Ralston are the wingers for Bobby Carpenter. Odeline with a shot that's out of the glove of Barrasso, and then played along by Brad Wawrinka. Kept by Odeline in front. Pandolfo put it off the outside of the net near the post. Now it's taken by Brian Ralston, flipped back to the corner. Pandolfo working with it there. First concerted pressure by either team, but it's broken down. The follow-up comes from Ken Danico. Brushed it right back toward the corner. So Ian Moran steps ahead for the Penguins defense. 2:25 played, first period, no score. In case you've just joined us, you may have missed the start. You want to know whether Jaromir Jagr is playing for Pittsburgh, and he is. He has seen one shift already. He is not on the ice just yet. Pittsburgh is rolling four lines too. At least it appears that way right now. Tyler Wright moves ahead with Dan Kessa. Kessa twisting with it, angled it around behind. Danico ran his man off the puck. That was right. Neither one of them could really come up with it, so it's Bombardier tapping one that came on to Morrison. Brendan Morrison, the star at University of Michigan 2 years ago, gave that up to Kessa, and it's quickly played back out to Rob Brown.
Get a sense you understand how important this game is, as both teams are trying to play very smart. Nothing close to a penalty. Very few whistles. Very smart start for both teams.
Jagr is out again. Holika shot, and it hit off the iron of the net right on the outside of the post. Played by Breland. Kicked out by Barrasso. Oh, the first big save, and Barrasso back up to his feet, seems to be ailing a little bit.
He may have pulled a muscle in his right leg. He kicked his right leg out, made a huge save, but Barrasso was very sore in getting up.
Worked back out now by Jagr. Turned right back ahead for control. Back to Jagr again. Jagr flips it across. It skipped away from McKay. Steen tries to jam it there and floated it back to center ice. So now it's Moran feeding it ahead to Jagr. That denied. Moran flew one that clinks off the corner glass, flipped on by Matthew Barnaby. Jagr there, leaned on by Bobby Holik. Jagr trying to sweep around in front. Holik gives him some repeated jabs with the stick. Worked back on now for a feed by Miller and a shot by Moran that was saved by Brodeur. Popped around behind. Dean hit there by Jaromir Jagr. And it's taken by Stevens. So Jagr will have one body check here in the first period on his second shift. Back on now comes Straka. Straka crosses, shoots, and it went just wide. Sikora checked off. It's floated back onto Titov. Titov turning with it. Sikora right on him. Dean tried to chop it away. Sikora did. Moran pinched in and played it back around. Devils defense hemmed up right now. They want to get out of their own zone, but some good forechecking by Pittsburgh. Sikora had that one knocked on through. Back behind for Morozov. Stood up by Stevens. He goes right back and turns. Alexei Morozov trying to fight his way to the front. It's fed back over. Trickled away from him from Straka. Morozov yanks it behind to Titov, looking for Straka, wants to swagger free, watched by Sikora. They flip one off the back of the goal, and it's trapped by Brodeur, and play stopped, and now Stevens steps into Straka.
Straka went digging, went fishing for the puck, and Stevens made him pay. Barrasso with a big save, Brodeur with a big save, Jagr got hit twice, and these Penguins are working hard. Barrasso with a gigantic save off of Greeland from the slot. You'll see him kick it out with his right foot. There. Oh, beautiful. But he was very sore and slow in getting up. Seems to be okay. Jagr hit twice. That's Holik. Watch him go in behind the net. He'll meet up with Dean. And, oh, here's the play after the whistle as Stevens and Straka got at one another. A little passion early, but everybody making sure they don't put each other down a man. Straka and Stevens, by the way, got minors apiece.
So both teams a man short. It'll be Lang working with Titov for Pittsburgh. Nubbed it to the back. Slager steered it on. He and Hatcher will be the defensemen. Lang trying to get to the front, swept away by Ken Danico. Danico matched up with Lyle Odeline today as a defense combination. They had used Danico and Stevens before, but Jagr was not in the game then. Nemchinov and Morrison are the penalty-killing forwards up front, or attacking forwards in this 4-on-4, depending on who has it. Work back along now for Morrison. Morrison slides it ahead. Lyle Odeline crosses, run into by Slager. Barrasso out to foist it away. 6 times this year, Tom Barrasso has started games but has not been able to finish because of injury. This one chopped loose and a reach for it by Brodeur, and then it's put off the paddle of his stick, controlled by Slager. Shoots one that's deflected to the corner by Lyle Odeline. Stepping to this is Danico, shoves with Titov. Barnaby flipped it across, glove down and controlled, and swung right into Brodeur in a very good turnaround shot.
The Penguins haven't backed up physically here in the first period yet, Mike. I thought in the last 2 games the Devils showed why they were the better team with more physical play, more balance with the physical play. But here, with Jagr in the lineup, the Penguins seem to be sparked somewhat. They're not backing up at all.
Shots are even at 3. In 45 seconds, both teams get a man. They tried to sneak Niedermeyer in, but it's an offside pass. Let's check in with Susie Kolber back at our studios.
Doc, we've got Phoenix and St. Louis. Coyotes lead the series 3-2. Al McInnes can't clear. You see him there in the corner. Mike Stapleton takes advantage. The huge slapper, his first career playoff goal. It's 1-0. Just 36 seconds later, the Blues respond on the Blake Blair. Action feeds Craig Conroy. He ties it at 1. It's been an extremely tight series, evident again today.
The Blues are 0-2 on home ice in the series. The last time that the Phoenix Coyotes franchise won a playoff series was as the Winnipeg Jets in 1987, 12 years ago. They're poised to do that today, but they were before as well. Here's Barrasso, seeming fine after that one play in which he was shaken up, John.
Yeah, his right leg, and I watched him as the puck was in the Devils' zone for a long period of time. Barrasso kept flexing his leg and flexing his leg, but he seems to be okay now.
16 to go on the coincidental minor penalties. Ralston knocked it ahead, tried to work it through, but Wawrinka is there to play it along, and Ralston without a stick. Turning with it is Pandolfo, shakes to the front of the net, put it off Barrasso. Around behind it is Moran. Moran able to lay a pass out to neutral ice. Both teams get their men back. Straka and Stevens is ahead with it. Now it's Kovalev. And a shot by Kovalev is wide. Kept alive back to the point, back to the corner, but it is Niedermeyer, stepped into by Straka. Scott Niedermeyer laid it past Breland, kept alive by Bobby Dallas, dumped behind, but again Niedermeyer fiddles it loose, controls on to Bobby Holik, and the Devils can step ahead. 12:40 to go, first period. Glad you're with us this afternoon on Fox. No score in the game, the long pass, and here comes Jagr. Drops it on back. Kovalev's shot is saved by Brodeur. Big drive by Dallas. He rang it off the crossbar. Oh, my. Kovalev again. Flips one. Save made by Brodeur. The clink of iron. Near the post, twice at one end, off the crossbar at the other. Struck a drive, and a save made by Brodeur. It careens up into the seats.
Every scoring chance the Penguins have had in this period so far, Jagr's been on the ice. The Jagr effect. The Devils are changing. Barrasso's got the puck. Look at Jagr change direction and go that way. Barrasso fires the puck up ice. Tip pass from Kovalev to Jagr, and here come the Penguins. And eventually you'll see Dallas move in and hit the crossbar on the play.
Jagr and Stevens with an exchange of sticks just before the faceoff. Dan Marawelli, the referee, comes in to have a word of warning with them. And the Devils control the face-off, and it's deep.
Like Jagr skating pretty well here, and you'll notice that he was on the ice, and there was a TV commercial. The coaching staff leaves him out on the ice to start the shift after the commercial. So they're trying to find offense, and Jagr so far, even though they haven't scored, has been on every bit of Pittsburgh's offense.
It is brought on by Randy McKay. Could not get it through Slager, and a penalty coming up. And it is an elbowing call. On
Jagr. And right now, Robbie Brown goes across and has some words with Stevens. And did Jagr react on this play and end up taking the penalty? Jagr's there. He moves across to Stevens and got the arm right up into the face. So Jagr takes a penalty on the blue line of the other team with the arm right up in the face. Not a good penalty for Jagr, who has played real well early, but now puts his team down a man. This will be our first power play of this game.
Fourth shift of the game for Jagr. He's not registered a shot on goal yet, but he's on the sheet now with the 2 minutes. And the Devils' power play faltered in the first 2 games, but it's been strong since. They are 4 for their last 12. When you can be 33%, that's really good. And they will go with the young guys. All 5 of these players for the Devils on the power play are 25 years of age or younger. Talk about a team with a future. Sikora and Elias on either side of Morrison. Some sparring between Elias and Jagr across the way. It is Niedermayer to work on one point and Jason Arnott on the other. Yeah, there's a feistiness about this game that you do expect.
I think what's interesting here is that the Devils get set up. Niedermayer is on the right D, Arnott on the left D. They both can shoot the puck off the pass. They're playing on the offside.
Sikora back. Big drive by Morrison. Fall off by Barrasso. Taken right away again. Fed back to the point. Niedermayer then to Arnott. Back to Niedermayer again. Morrison at the front of the net. Niedermayer on the outside. Peter Sikora works it into Morrison. Pivoting is Elias. Pass couldn't get there. Flipped high off the glass and into the seats by Slager.
Well, you need goaltending, and Barrasso comes up huge with a catching glove save on a good shot from the high slot. A real good shot. You'll see Barrasso had been out of the net, got back into the net. You see the open side. Here comes a shot. And Barrasso was right there in position. He made a good save. I thought in previous games, at least the last 2 games, Mike, Barrasso got caught moving across. Here you can see he's in perfect shape. And he moved across nicely and just had to use the arm to make the save, which was perfect. Good down-low coverage by all the 5 Penguins there. As you see, the goaltender in 4 looking to clear rebounds. But Barrasso got caught moving on some goals earlier in the series.
Niedermayer hands it across. It is Sikora working in deep to Morrison. Niedermayer. Sikora. Morrison looks for Elias. Got it to him. Lifted one that was off the mark. Morrison had it knocked away to the wall. Cleared as far as Arnott. Able to stick handle from his knees and play it on for Morrison to tap to Elias. Penguins are challenging pretty well in the shorthand. Here is Sikora around behind. Took some lumber. Got it to Niedermayer. Arnott fires and a block by Ian Moran. And it comes back to center ice.
That's what I meant by shooting off the pass. Arnott did it, but Moran read the play beautifully. And if you mentioned previously in the series, he's a defenseman that can play up front, killing the penalty. What a block that was by Moran. The Penguins do a good job blocking shots when they're on their game. Now here you can see the puck work down low. Sikora to Morrison. And he tries to feed the puck back across. Elias is there and just flipped it to the outside. He knew he had to go high. Just flipped it to the outside of the post. Nice little pass across. Backhand, forehand. And the shot was wide.
Barrasso's most recent injury was a broken hand in a game against Montreal. And his hand for catching is the right one. That's the one that was hurt. The Devils have tended to test that side, but that time that was just the best scoring play for Elias to have it as well. Moving in now is Odeline. Odeline tangled up with Dan Kessa. Puck controlled by Breland. Half a minute left on the power play. Back along for Odeline, but instead it's Warinka blasting it down.
The Devils play Arnott, a forward on the point on the blue line in the first power play unit. Now Ralston goes back there for the second power play unit. And does he ever have a great low shot?
By low, do you mean on the ice or?
Low, yeah. Good shot. Keeps it low for deflection. Scott Stevens standing up on the bench. He wants to get out there if he can. He's had 2 power play goals the last 2 games.
Ralston nearly Tries to score again from where he did the other night. This one is fed over to Holik. His shot in front. McKay taken down. Scramble for the puck there. They poke away at it, but it's lifted back down by Kessa. And on goal, it skipped right into Brodeur. And a big ooh went up from the crowd. Penalty time is up. Scott Stevens is back out there. He has a power play goal in each of the last 2 games. That has not happened for the longest time in his career to have even 1 power play goal in the game. Up fed ahead now, and it's taken by Pandolfo. Pandolfo worked it through off of Bobby Carpenter. Jagr's line is out there now. Crossbody blocked by Nemchinov, who battles the boards, coming by for Jay Pandolfo of the Devils. Sealed up on the wall. Pandolfo escapes, has it, looks for Carpenter, fed it to the back. Stevens with a shot, kicked out by Barrasso. Now it's Alexei Kovalev. Devils forechecking working pretty well now, as the Penguins had earlier. Bobby Carpenter wiped out Wawrinka.
Like you said it right, Barrasso kicked it out. He kicked the puck a good 10 or 12 feet away from the front of the net on purpose to get the puck past the Devil forwards that were sitting there waiting for a big, juicy rebound.
Elias and Sikora on either side of Arnott.
And the Penguins continue to use the rookie, Hrdina, to take the draw. He just got thrown out. Now comes another centerman, Straka, to take the draw. The Penguins traded Stu Barnes away to Buffalo for Barnaby earlier in the season, so they rely heavily on Hrdina for draws.
Straka's percentage has not been good. Hrdina's has been, if not the best in the league, very close to it going into today. Arnott around behind for Sikora. When you can win 60% of your draws, it was a significant chase out that took place just a moment ago. Hey, let's hear from Susie Colbert with another update.
Doc, more scoring in St. Louis. Blues on the power play. Pierre Turgeon with a pass to Scott Young. Young coming through again. Remember, he had the game winner in overtime in Game 5. Blues trying to stave off elimination. They're down 3 games to 2.
A lot of talk that Pierre Turgeon may not be with the Blues next season with that hefty, somewhere in the neighborhood of $5 million contract. But boy, has he played well recently for the Blues.
Off this tie-up, it goes to Elias, pursued by Hrdina, swatted on to Arnott. Around behind, stolen by Jan Hrdina. Rookie sensation for the Penguins, gave it over to German Titov, then back along to Moran. Elias there, fed over. Sikora's shot was out of the glove of Barrasso. Nubbed around behind, Elias. Back pass in front, and Straka got that one and handed over to Jan Hrdina. Hrdina for the Penguins just lobs one back in. That will be an icing touch-up for Bombardier. 8:04 to go first period. We have no score in the game. The shots right now are 8-6 New Jersey.
And it seems like the Devils' shots are all from down low, Mike. In other words, down below the hash marks towards the net. So with the defenseman not blasting away so far for the Devils, the Penguins are keeping everybody down low with the forwards. Well, you see the puck deep here. You see the forecheck by the guys in red doing a good job taking the body and forcing the turnover. Then they take control. So everybody stays down. Look at those forwards. Those defensemen way at the back are wide open. But everybody's down low. Look at Straka help out. Every one of those 5 Penguin players were below the top of the circle to help out defensively, not worrying about the defensemen for New Jersey. And if you think about it, you think of Holik and McKay who are on the ice now. And Breland. Where have they gotten their offense from? The backboards down low with a forecheck and the grinding. And they're working on Hrdina here again, Mike. The Devils have complained about him cheating on faceoffs, right? They're giving Hrdina a tough time right now in the circle.
Bobby Holik swept one in front. Breland a backhander. Score! Sergei Breland with his 3rd goal of this playoff series after having been put on the left wing with Bobby Holik and Randy McKay, and it's 1-0 New Jersey.
Mike, they took Hrdina, and the linesman did, and straightened them out before the puck was dropped. And you know and I know the Penguins or the Devils have complained about Hrdina cheating. He's going to try to turn that way. 38 is. And look at the linesman straighten them out. See, stop. Ray Scapinelli's making him straighten his feet out, right? So all of a sudden, it's not that easy to win a draw, and the Devils won it. Now they work the puck down low where we talked about their offense coming from, and boom. Hatcher didn't get the job done by intercepting the play in front, and it scored on the backhand, and it's 1-0 Devils. I think a lot of this had to do with Hrdina being straightened out in the face-off circle, not winning the draw, the puck down low where the Devils have been tough, and just like that, they get the 1-0 lead.
Ray Scapinello was the linesman who got him straightened out. 3rd goal of the playoffs, 4th career Stanley Cup goal for Breland. Holik and Odeline get the assist at 12:04. But his win percentage, Hrdina, 60% in this playoff series. Over 100 wins that he has had. And so it was indeed a significant protest by the Devils that seemed to make the difference.
Well, he has made a difference. Zerdina has. The last game the Penguins played, which was Game 5, the only thing they did was win faceoffs. Now here's Zerdina trying to cheat again, and the linesman's on his case again. See that? He really tries to turn his body towards the boards, and they're trying to straighten him out, even in the neutral zone.
Dumped around for Bobby Holik. Holik looks for Breland, but it's chipped in front, knifed away from Miller, and floated back to neutral ice, and Slager will go back to get it. 7.5 to go first period. New Jersey ahead by a score of 1-0. They lead the series 3 games to 2. This one angled on back, and it'll be Brodeur to stop.
And Jagr out there again, and his opposite defenseman, Scott Stevens, again.
That becomes more difficult to accomplish, and finesse pass for Jagr was offside in the second period when the pass to the benches is longer. Bobby Holik was having some words with Hatcher.
And Jagr was having a little mix-up with Dean. Slava Fetisov, a former great player. I mean, world-class defenseman, changes the defense for the New Jersey Devils, and it's his job to make sure the matchups happen, whether they have to change on the fly or not. Slava over on the right side. And his job is to take care of the 6th defenseman, change them properly, even on the power play, on the penalty kill, even strength, watch the matchups, make sure they change on the fly if they have to. And the defenseman there just reveled in the work that Fetisov's been able to accomplish this season.
Bobby Carpenter won that one back to Danico, and it's taken by Dollar. This has to be an especially difficult time for him because he's used to playing at this time of the year. He's 40 years old, and this is the first time he's not really been in some championship of note since he was a teenager.
You were telling me he's still in pretty good shape.
Oh, yes. I think that if there was some sort of problem, which because of the Devils' depth there isn't, that he could play. Puck rolled along for Barnaby. Barnaby sealed up.
You know, there's one team that doesn't have trouble with depth in this league. The New Jersey Devils.
How deep are the Devils? Probably by this time next week on their roster, they'll have a player named John Madden. I mean, you can't be much deeper than that. He doesn't have a cruiser, though. He played for the Albany River Rats until last night when they were eliminated. Different John Madden. Thrown into the glove of Brodeur and play stopped. 6:22 left in the first, and the Devils ahead 1-0. And the Devils' John Madden was second in the American Hockey League in scoring. Robbie Fatorik won a championship there back in '95.
Robbie wanted me to, if possible, say hello to an old roommate of his. They played together in Phoenix back in the early 70s, 73, 4, and 5. Michel Cormier, who's having a little problem right now, and Robbie wanted him to get well soon up in Three Rivers, which is Trois-Rivières in the province of Quebec. So Robbie wanted us to say hello, and we did just that. Robbie was in a real good talkative mood before the game about his team, and he wanted them to be really disciplined, stay out of the penalty box. And so far in this first period with 6:22 to go, no power play for Pittsburgh.
Oh, Slager with a good shot, and Brodeur with a strong save. Suicide battle the boards. Puck kicked to the front. Off of Niedermeyer. Taken by Tyler Wright. Rugged guy around behind. Pestered by Morrison. Slipped one in front that came all the way across for Sergei Nemchinov. Nemchinov rolled it ahead. Morrison after it. He's got a man breaking. Fires, and it went off of Barrasso into the glass. Now back come the Penguins. Just under 6 minutes to go in the first, and the Devils ahead 1-0. Turn back over to Bombardier, then on to Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer cranks a shot, and it's grabbed and held by Tom Barrasso.
The Penguins get a little bit of offense on the draw here, as you'll see Kessa draw it right back. And as he draws it back nicely, he beat Morrison on the face-off. You can see Slager had to settle the puck down. Did get the shot, not a hard shot. And you can see how Brodeur moved the puck away. Now Hatcher, the defenseman, pinches on the play. Right in here. He pinches in to try and find some offense for his team. The Penguins started to pinch a little more in the last couple of weeks of the season. But Hatcher stumbled, pinched a little late, and all of a sudden it's a 2-on-1. And a good shot on goal that Barrasso knocked aside with his catching arm. Again, the Penguins started pinching just a little bit more late in the season. Trying to find offense, sometimes it backfires.
Hatcher resting at the bench. The Penguins defense combination, Brad Wawrinka and Ian Moran. It is on to Elias. Elias for the Devils, back to Danico. Danico floated it back in deep. Wawrinka stepped to it there, chipped it along. Jason Arnott booted it further and then went to get it. Arnott brushed and then locked up by Wawrinka. Then Arnott with a headlock on Wawrinka. Puck bounced on back. Lyle Odeline chipped it further. At the half boards, turning with it is Moran. Penguins able to outlet, and it's on for Jan Hrdina, and then thrown back in by Titov. Away from the reach of Brodeur. Penguins make another change. It is not the Jagr unit on, though. Randy McKay steers it ahead for Bobby Holik. And it went off Elias, who comes to the bench to complete the change the Devils wanted. Scott Stevens is out there along with Kevin Dean. Morozov flips it, collared by Holik. And Holik got it back ahead for Dean, who just lobbed it back in. 3/4 of the first period have been played. The shots are 11-7 in favor of New Jersey. Dean with a pass. Wanted McKay, got Titov. McKay got Titov, and the play is stopped.
Well, these Devils are keeping the puck to the outside through the neutral zone. The Devils have the only goal in this period. A backhander by Breland. That's the referee, Dan Marawelli, over there. Watch the puck carom off of him as Hatcher tried to move it, and all of a sudden Miller's in a position where he reaches out and hooks down his man. So Miller goes to the box, and the Devils have their second power play.
0 for 1. 2 shots on goal on the first one. They start as they did the previous one, with Niedermeyer and Arnott in back, and Morrison and Elias and Sikora up front. How's the faceoff going here, John?
Straka and Morrison, the linesmen have been very active in this game, making sure that everything is perfect before they drop the puck. Same unit of 5 as you mentioned to start the power play for these Devils.
Taken by Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer across to Jason Arnott. Arnott dealt it back along to Elias. Very deliberate now. It's Arnott across to Niedermeyer. Morrison near the front of the net now drifts away to take the pass from Niedermeyer. Elias inside the box. Work to the outside for Morrison. Not much of an opening, and a pass misfires and goes all the way back down. Half a minute gone on the kill. Straka working up front for Pittsburgh. Also Ian Moran, a defenseman who has been a forward, playing shorthanded as a forward. Sikora got that one off his glove, and it's flipped along, and it's all on a delayed offside anyway.
Well, so far this penalty kill good, especially the first portion, when the Penguins played it perfect in their own zone. These Devils like to, again, with Morrison, Sikora, and Elias, they love to move the puck down and get fancy around the goal net of Barrasso, but it was played beautifully. So now the Devils change all 5 forwards, and now the big boys go on the ice. Holik and McKay, if they get near the front of the net, you try to move them. And of course, Ralston on the point with Odeline. I shouldn't forget about Breland. He does have the goal in the period. It was a great backhand shot.
A Russian player in the Czech Republic who's now an American citizen, a Canadian, another Canadian, and an American. And if we started down the Penguins lineup, it would be even more international than that. Here's Breland turning with it. Breland trying to fight his way through. Flipped right to Randy McKay. Scaled it around behind for Holik. Holik back to Ralston. Quickly back across for Odeline. Tried for Holik, but it was off the mark and chopped back down.
Holik does not have a goal in this series, but does have 7 assists now. He's been powerful the last couple of games.
Holik and Odeline had the assist on the Breland goal at 12:04. It's the only one in the game. Worked across for Brian Ralston. Bang back around the wall. Slager took it there. Yuri Slager, the workhorse, back on that defense for Pittsburgh. Had it chopped away, and it came back over to Holik. And 35 to go in the period. Work to the back now. Odeline over to Ralston. Then Bobby Holik. He's got McKay in front. To the back. Ralston shoots one that came across. Odeline and shot. Roland Barrasso. Oh, Tom Barrasso came sliding across as the work continues behind. Randy McKay gave it over to Holik, and then McKay taking the glass. Onto the back, Ralston. Gives to Holik. Holik with the drive. Save Barrasso. Rebound, and McKay couldn't tuck it home. Holik another shot. He put it off the post. To the corner now. Breland hit hard by Straka. Penalty time is up, and the Penguins move it back out. They've got Miller out of the box to help them. Moving back ahead as Straka tries to get by. Ian Moran shoveled it around behind. Odeline stepped to it there, hooked it to the board, but it's Bobby Dolloff banking it behind. Centering attempt by Miller failed the first time. Second time came to the wall, and the Devils took over and lost. Just spiked away from Jagr by Stevens, or Jagr would have been all alone. It is Ralston ahead. A little bit of chaos. I enjoy it. It is Ralston flipping it back in.
And Barrasso did the job again on the penalty kill. His team's been outshot 15-7, so more than 2-1, and they've been outshot in every first period here in the series. And Barrasso in this game has held them in here in the first period.
Nemchinov back to Pandolfo, checked off by Jagr, and an offside. John, this sport is just chock full in its history books of courageous players who, despite injury, have come back to play in crucial situations for their team. It is by no means a rarity, but we don't want to trivialize what Jagr is doing today by saying this is just one in a long list of courageous efforts by an NHL player.
Well, yesterday he tried to skate a couple of times, and he wore this type of scuba diving outfit that's kind of that rubbery stuff, and he had some straps on it underneath, of course, all his equipment, and he can, with those straps, tighten everything up and maybe keep the groin muscle that's damaged some really tight to help him. But he's played hard here in the first period, and most of the offense that Pittsburgh has had, and that was in the first half of the period, Jagr was the one in on everything. Very little offense without him.
Greg Andrusak played it on a cross. It's lobbed back out by Warenka, taken by Niedermeyer to Stevens to Pandolfo, pressed to the boards by Andrusak, going back now. Bobby Dallas rammed to the boards by Pandolfo. Devils following through on their checks. Kovalev spirited it back to center ice, and on comes Titov, surrounded by red and black. Herdina banked one around behind, but it is Stevens twisting with it, had his stick held, and then hustling to it was Herdina, knocked away by Niedermeyer. Out of the tussle, it is Carpenter just lifting it back down. And this will be short of icing, and so it is controlled by Barrasso, who wipes out the icing after it had been wiped out by the linesman. 35 to go in the first period. Devils ahead in this game, 1-0.
Look at that trap. Look at the trap. They're taking away the middle of the ice. 5-man trap. There was nobody open to pass the puck to, and almost a turnover here in the last minute. Let's see what happens this time. First man puck pressure. Puck to the outside. Look at that. Nothing. I mean, zero. Second half of this period's been a clinic by the Devils.
Brodeur scaled it back out, and they'll try again. So what's the way to beat it, John?
I think with a little more speed more than anything else, if you can build it up coming out of your zone. You know what's interesting here is the Devils had 15 shots. They dominated, but they only lead by 1.
The end of the first period with the score, the Devils 1, the Penguins 0. Susie Goldberg will be along with the New Dodge Intermission Report after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. So the way to beat this, John, is with what? Off the boards passes?
Well, yeah, through the neutral zone, some teams do a good job by chipping the puck off the boards. In other words, skating through between the two blue lines through center ice by chipping the puck past people, bank passing like you see in billiards when you take pool shots. There's different styles and different avenues. But the second half of the first period, the Penguins really had trouble getting that offense going because they couldn't get through the neutral zone. And the Devils are staying out of the penalty box. A big, huge key. So look, here it is again. It's just closed off. See that? Another pass that didn't work.
This time they're able to carry in. Here's Herdina flipping one in front, and that well watched by Scott Stevens. But it was twice a broken play that resulted in the Penguins at least getting in. This thrown across from Herdina to Jagr. One-time drive was off the mark, and it is Dean. Dean and Stevens, the defense combination for New Jersey. Pass ahead. Slager matched up with Hatcher, the defense for Pittsburgh. Brodeur stops. Brodeur and Barrasso, the goalkeepers. Barrasso has had the tougher plays to make. Freeland the only goal if you're just running. It is Warenka now with Moran on defense. Titov working up front along with Straka and Morozov as Jagr has come to the bench. For that reason, Bombardier and Niedermeyer are out on defense for New Jersey.
Well, there's another rush up the ice. Nothing. So 0 for 2 here after the first minute goes by in the second period. 0 for 2. Jagr during the first period. Let's see how he was played by these Devils. There he took a penalty with a high hit on Stevens. That's McKay bumping Jagr. That's Holik bumping Jagr. That's Dean taking away Jagr's space. So that was the first period of play with Jagr, who was able to work for 6 minutes 24 seconds, was on the ice for the goal against, had 8 shifts, did not register a shot, but I thought he set up some good plays for his team in the first half of the period.
Yeah, 3 shots were set up by Jagr passing. Elias tries to work it further. On back now, hacked along by Moran. It kicked loose and was spiked away from Sikora. Bombardier drove it around. Elias tipped it to neutral ice. Warenka lobs it back in and caught a man offside. And so again, the clock stops.
Chris Terreri is the backup goaltender. Not a lot of space at the Devils bench. The players have gotten bigger over the years, haven't they, Mike? So he sits over by the entrance to their locker room and just sort of stays incognito with the hat on.
It has to be a team hat. At one time, some goaltenders who had other arrangements going were wearing branded hats that they were being paid to wear, and then, of course, the league said, no, you guys can't do that.
Like Max Fly or Titleist or something.
Whatever they needed. What do we need at the time? Well, we've got the sticks now. What about about 100
Mercedes? Yeah. Years ago, it wasn't Mercedes. These days, it's Mercedes. You know what I mean? A little difference in the old salary structure.
So amidst the trapping from an old player who's still upset, here is Arnott trying to stash one in front, and that one pinballed loose. Tap to the corner, and it is Sikora. Born too early, Mr. Davidson.
Oh, no. Happy guy.
Hrdina banked one, thrown across by Warenka. I have to give you a hard time. Niedermeyer playing it ahead. Arnott chopped one further. Worked back on now by Straka. Straka cross, drive by Morozov, save Brodeur. Straka tipped one around in front. Brodeur has just gotten back to his feet, does not have his goal stick, but the Devils force it back the other way. Ian Moran pivoting, put it into the skates of Straka, who can now control it. 20 years ago next week, John Davidson authored a Stanley Cup final victory for his Rangers in Montreal against the Canadiens.
Yeah, then lost 4 straight.
But the team lost.
Guy Lafleur and company, they were pretty good. Scotty Bowman coaching that team. You think in this series, Straka's worn down just a little bit? He's not big, and the Devils wear you down. Now, that Straka started the series strong, yet has not been as good the last 2 or 3 games.
At one point, he was the second leading scorer in the Stanley Cup playoffs entirely. But that was back in games 2 and 3. And he's not really been heard from since, so it would make sense.
So with Jagr going out of the lineup at the time, the Devils could key on Straka, and that makes it tough.
Offside. Matthew Barnaby out for a rare shift. He's been one of the sidebar stories and a lightning rod in this series, and he tossed one down the ice into the Devils' empty net after the Devils had left the ice again today. That's been done twice in a row.
He only played 2 minutes 2 seconds in the first period. When he waited till the Devils vacated their zone and warm-up, he fired the puck down. It went on goal. He threw his hands up in the air as if he had scored a goal in a game. And then Holik skated by him, and Holik, I don't think, said a word. I think what the Devils have done, and I asked Scott Stevens about it before the game, what about the Barnaby factor? They said, we got more important people and players to deal with than Matthew Barnaby. And that was the end of the Barnaby conversation. So I think earlier in the series, he may have gotten to some people, but as the series has moved along, the Devils have just assumed it's like he doesn't exist.
It is Stevens peeling away, and with only 2 minutes of playing time, it's pretty easy for them to follow through on that philosophy. Jammed on back now for a play out by Greg Andrusak. Andrusak joined this team at just the right time. They had injuries, and he'd played in Germany the last 3 years. He'll be a part of this team next year. They aren't going to let him get away because he has been really good.
Mike, Rob Brown went over to the bench. He could hardly get off the ice. He couldn't lift his foot up 6 or 8 inches to step in the bench. He took a run at Scotty Stevens, hit Stevens, but Robbie Brown took the worst of it, and he's hurting at the bench. This is Scotty Stevens on the puck. Watch Brown try to throw a hit into Stevens and misses, and bang, did he go into the boards. And he went over to the bench, sliding across, and watch him get up here. He can hardly lift his feet. He could hardly get up into the bench. He had to use his arms on top of the boards to lift his body into the bench itself. So we'll have to watch and see if Rob Brown's able to come back.
Icing touch-up. This is a franchise that has been part of the sports scene here for 32 years. It has played this year under Chapter 11. It was filed in mid-October. A lot of loans were acquired to assure payroll to the end of the year. The hope of the general fan population came when Mario Lemieux himself owed some $30 million in deferred pay. Earlier submitted a plan to bail out the team. Well, Friday, his plan was passed on to the creditors for a vote. That takes 45 days. And the 45 days are significant. We'll get to this again. Bounce back now for Jaromir Jagr. Jagr stood up there by Dean. The battle continues on the wall. Couple of forearm shivers. Hit with McKay. Off the glove of Jagr and out of play. So the 45 days, that's what it's going to take for the vote on the Lemieux plan. Other plans may be submitted. Lemieux is the one who has the trust of the people who buy next year's tickets, though. The cloud over this comes with 2 deadlines. The bankruptcy court needs 45 days. The NHL has a deadline so they can make plans for next season 30 days away. The league has the power to dissolve the franchise. The judge has the power to throw things out. He didn't. He passed it on. In essence, it's uncertain. This could be, if the Penguins lose this game, this could be the last game a Pittsburgh Penguin team is ever going to play.
Oh, I hope not. I really do. I think what Mario needs is somebody, one of his investors, to come up with another $20 million approximately to buy out the lease with the SMG people in this building and then go forward. This could be their last game.
Is Bill Gates a hockey?
Yeah, please. Jagr, by the way, was upset with the referee, went over and said something to him, then went to the bench and had his visor cleaned. And while that was happening, the Devils got mad because Jagr was delaying the faceoff. So I think everybody was mad before the puck was finally dropped.
Here's Slager battling with McKay. Jagr. That one flicked ahead, and it went over for Miller. Stevens battled. Miller battled as well, and it came all the way back in for Slager to take again. 1 shot apiece this period. That's been it. 4.5 played as of now.
Jagr coming out of his own playing left wing, maybe staying away from Stevens.
Herdina to Miller. Flips one that's cut off by Stevens. Oh, Jagr was cruising right in front and was denied by Stevens for the second time. The first time spiking it away from him. The second time intercepting a pass headed for him.
You know, Stevens has moved over. He's playing right defense. Look at that. He took the puck.
And feeds it ahead to Sikora. Fires, and that's blocked to the corner by Wawrinka. Fed right to Arnott. Trickled it behind. Battled for by Sikora. Arnott takes it. Sweeps in front, and a shot deflected to the corner. Strong play there by Brad Wawrinka on defense. Elias rolled it along. Sikora turning. Shoved off by Straka. Puck taken by Arnott. Given to the back. Bombardier a shot deflected wide by Sikora. Chipped to the front. Trying for it, Arnott. And it's worked ahead now by the Penguins. Long pass for Jagr is deflected away by Bombardier. Back comes Niedermeyer. Hands it on away from Elias. And it's Greg Andrusak bringing it ahead. He's got Kovalev on the right, but offside is called.
Andrusak didn't move the puck. Kovalev was there waiting for the puck. Earlier, Jagr, who's a right winger, was over on the left side. Jagr went to the left wing to get away from Stevens. Look at Jagger's over here. Where's Stevens? Now, Stevens is a left defenseman. He's moved to the right side because 68's there. And he ends up stealing the puck and moving into the offensive zone. So Jagr's trying to get away from Stevens. Stevens isn't staying in only his position. He's switching with his defense partner to make sure he marries Jagr for this game.
Boy, that shows a lot of respect for the Devils captain, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. We saw Chris Chelios work with Paul Kariya in the previous series with Detroit and Anaheim. And right here, this is similar.
It is Titov throwing it in. Bombardier and Titov go back after it. Kovalev kicked it on to Straka. Niedermeyer with a bear hug on him. 6 minutes have been played. Very defensive minutes. Titov hands back on to Wawrinka. Fed it across, and it went through Straka. Straka pivoting, eyed up by Bombardier. Straka around behind with it. Martin Straka on the outside. Wawrinka escapes the check of Niedermeyer. Throws one in front that's paddled away by Brodeur. Brought ahead by Niedermeyer and backhanded as far as center. And Titov just lays it back in. The Penguins are making a change. Bombardier stands up his man, so it's poked along by Niedermeyer. Kept by Straka. Slipped it behind for Kovalev. Knocked loose by Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer with another try. Pinching at the half boards was Dallas. Fed back around to Titov. Titov ran by Niedermeyer. Kovalev steps by. Alexei Kovalev with some space. Slung one in front. Score! Straka!
What a shift for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Kovalev in particular, he just worked the puck along the boards. There's Kovalev there. He's battling. He fights to keep the play alive. He's got Titov down there too. They pinch and keep the puck in along the boards. Now as you'll see, Kovalev will get the puck. That's Straka in front. Straka just waits. Everybody goes to one side, including Bombardier and Niedermeyer, the two defensemen. Straka was open, and Kovalev with a brilliant pass. Look at Kovalev's pass. right past all the Devils, and Straka puts the puck in behind the goaltender. We're tied up at 1. What a shift that was, and finally the shot on goal.
Kovalev and Titov get the assist, and here's Andrusak moving in. Back for Tyler Wright, slugs it around behind to Rob Brown, who seems to be okay now. Brown turning with it, worked on by Odeline. Coming by is Tyler Wright. Wright fed one, but it's off the back of the goal. Wright trying it again. Wright threw one, and it went off the skates of Bombardier. Odeline battles, and the puck rushed away to the corner. Danico hit hard by Tyler Wright, and we get a stoppage of play with 12:41 to go in the second period. It's a tie game. They're going nuts.
That's Tyler Wright, fourth line forward for Pittsburgh. Watch this hit into Danico, and Danico got mad. The Penguins had scored the goal. They came back with their fourth line to stir it up a little bit. Robbie Brown there yapping with Danico. Odeline steps in and pulls the stick away. And two linesmen and two referees very busy during the last stoppage. And for the first time in the game, the fans are really into this one here in Pittsburgh.
Stevens. Dean. Crunched loose off of the pinching Moran. Thrown behind. Stevens tries the other way. Off of Sikora, kept by Straka.
This is the line that scored the goal for Pittsburgh.
Dean, again, the third time. Arnott able to nudge it out to center ice.
And this time they go against Scotty Stevens. Now, if Jagr comes on the ice the next shift, he won't see Stevens.
Arnott the check. Dean brings it ahead. On to Sikora. Can't get through. Foisted off by Warenka, and the crowd reacts to that. Moran steered it on.
Constantine wants to change bad because Scott Stevens has gone to the bench. Here comes Jagr if he can get on the ice.
Hatcher shooting. Deflected high and nudged ahead by Bombardier. Jagr up with it. Steps by two. Shoots. Knocked down in front. Oh, what a move he was able to put on. Now back ahead the other way. Elias had to get out of the way of a freight train named Hatcher, tumbling down to the ice as a referee. Worked back ahead away from Kip Miller.
That shot by Jagr hit his own man, Straka. Now Stevens is right back on the ice because Jagr's out there. What a chess game.
Jagr forced off by Holik, and it's Niedermeyer again. Then McKay. In a collision sport, they started out by playing 4 games in 6 days. That was just to get to the 5th game. We are now at the 6th one. There hasn't been much rest. And for a guy like Stevens and a guy like Jagr to work well, here's Holik moving in, flipping it across, and it was away from Breland. Forced on by Stevens. Loose puck taken by Randy McKay. McKay whipped one, and it went off Slager. Punched back on in deep by Stevens. Fired back around the wall, but kept alive by Dean. Now with it is Bobby Holik. Holik run into by Slager. McKay comes by, and it's testing on the boards, and Holik thrown away by Slager. Along now for Hatcher. Hatcher scaled it off the glass, kept alive by Stevens, and a shot is guided away by Barrasso as McKay was right in front of the net. It's the Penguins who can't get out now. McKay steps to this. It's nudged to the boards. The follow-up comes from Breland. Then on to McKay. McKay to the corner. Hatcher on him. Puck tipped away by Jagr. Neutralized. Stevens can't reach. 2-on-1. Jagr moving in with Kip Miller. Jagr across. Save Brodeur. Rebound. It popped up in the air. And the Devils started back the other way. Bobby Holik brings it back as the Penguins make a change. Jagr is off the ice. Thrown away from Kevin Dean. Moving back is Dallas, and he touches it up for an icing. 9:55 to go, second period, 1-1.
Oh, they love it here in Pittsburgh. Constantine wanted to change. Scott Stevens is on the bench. Jagr's got to get out there. Finally, he does get out there. They're pushing him off the bench. Watch him grab the puck and shoot it, but he hits Straka, his own man. Bang, doesn't get through to Brodeur. Finally, Scott Stevens gets beaten on a play here. Watch him lose the puck and stumble a bit. 2-on-1. The goaltender plays the shooter, which he did. Beautifully played. Oh, did Brodeur make a play as they tried to get to the rebound. Brodeur sweeps it away with his goal stick as Miller's about to get the puck right here. Bang! Oh, nice play by Brodeur. And I think Scott Stevens having to play 2 shifts out of 3 got him a little bit exhausted, and that's why Jagr got by him.
Swatted around by Andrusak. The late offside is whistled down. We just continue to marvel at the stamina of hockey players to play this many collision games in the span that they have to. 2 weeks, and then if they survive that, it's another 2 weeks. And potentially 7 games in 14 days.
I've admired the way these Pittsburgh Penguins have been able to stay in this game. Now, look at Jagr. He hasn't played in a while. He hasn't been able to skate. You question the conditioning level because of that. And after that hard shift where he gave everything he had, I mean, he's just leaning back right now. He's pulling his, you see his left hand there, he's pulling his hockey pants away from his midsection just so he could breathe easier to try and recoup and get ready for his next shift. He just, I mean, this guy is a competitor. He's got greatness. And he's proving it here today. I mean, he's hurt, and he hasn't even been able to work out. But yet, look at him. He's been dominant at times. And the Devils have done everything to try and stop him.
Oh, a quick one off the faceoff, just past the glove hand of Barrasso. And Offo shoves it along. Walton with a pass. Bobby Carpenter tried to feed the point, but it's taken by Lang. Lang checked by Carpenter. Onside play. Danico back to play on defense. Is hit high and hit hard by Lang. Back ahead with it now comes Jay Pandolfo. Pandolfo in a 4-on-3. Penguins tried to set up a wall and did a pretty good job. Drilled shot by Carpenter was blocked off by Barrasso. Lang nudges it ahead. Morozov up the wing, but it went off the stick of Matthew Barnaby. Barnaby turned it back around, and then a heavy check on him by Danico. Lyle Oberline banked it around behind, then he was hit by Barnaby.
You're seeing the Penguin forecheck now. The Penguins have not had a power play or past the midpoint of regulation. The Devils have kept their cool, even though they're getting hit now, especially the defensemen.
Oberline cleared, but back in his right. Drive and getting a piece of it, Brodeur. Ken Danico floats it back out. Ian Moran drops back. 17 shots to 10 in favor of the Devils. A 1-1 tie. Brendan Morrison worked over by Brown. Gave it across to Niedermeyer. Swings it ahead, but off Vadim Sharafianov. Warenka off Sharafianov. Then off Morrison. In a tangle at the line. It is Bombardier. Then Niedermeyer. Tries to step by and gets by. Fed it over for a shot that Barrasso was able to trap. That came from the stick of Nemchinov. Funniest tonight at 7, 6 Central.
Jagr, I'm sorry, Mike. Jagr 11 shifts. He's averaging approximately a minute per shift. He's only had the 1 shot, but he's had 4 shots that he has set up for his team in this game. Hrdina on the draw again. Hrdina on the right side of the ice where he draws the puck back to the corner. He doesn't seem to have any trouble at all. On the other side of the ice, that's where the linesman keeps straightening him out. So let's see what happens here.
Encroachment from behind.
The Devils have 4 men up on the line. They're pretty creative. Look at that, all 4 guys on the line. Only Niedermeyer back, and he started here as moving across. But Hrdina took care of that.
Away from Brown. Rushed by Niedermeyer. Grabbed by Nemchinov. Pass is cut. Steered back on the wing. They try for Kessa. He guided it further, but it's Brendan Morrison for New Jersey. Morrison trying to shake Tyler Wright. Dishes it on back for the carry by Bombardier. Laid on for Sharafianov. Off the glass and off the stick of Barrasso. Chopped away, but right on the turning stick of Rob Brown. Nemchinov again. A lot of this is being played from the circles on out. Not a lot of low play. Dallas goes low and is rammed for his trouble, but he had to go back to the icing touch-up.
The Devils don't have that low play that we saw earlier in the game. It's interesting, too, to see this game dominated by the Devils until about the 10-minute mark of the second period, yet they only have the 1-0 lead. In other words, they were dominating, but somehow, some way, these Penguins were staying in, and all of a sudden, a beautiful play where Straka is set up by Kovalov, and we're 1-1. And these Penguins have had a lot more life since they were able to tie it up in 1. Kevin Constantine doing a great job behind the bench for this hockey club.
Been a recurring theme for the Devils off and on during recent years, but they've broken out of it some, and then it came back against them when they scored only 1 in the second game, only 2 in the third game, and had a couple of just brief stretches when, as some of them said, we had a brain cramp and a couple of goals went in. But here is Arnott forcing it back out. His team wanting to put the Penguins away today. But it is a 1-1 tie with under 7.5 to go in the second period. Jaromir Jagr has played and played quite a bit. Off of Elias. Barrasso covers. Time for our Oracle trivia question. Prior to Martin Straka's Game 3 hat trick, who was the last Penguin player to score a playoff hat trick?
Well, the only guy I could think of would be the big boy.
Well, you're half right. It was in the same game, May 11th, 1996, 7-3 win over the Rangers, Jagr and Lemieux.
I wasn't thinking of this big guy, even though he's a big guy. It's the other big guy, the real big guy. There's Mario with his daughter with him there. Oh boy, I hope he's able to find a way to keep hockey alive and well in this city.
There are others who are trying as well.
Yes,
but the people that pay the price of admission have a trust with this guy that the others would love to have but don't have.
Why can't they just all get together?
That would
find a way to do it.
It's too easy, isn't it? It seems too easy from up here anyway.
Shots are 18-10 overall, with 7:16 to go here in the second period. And the Devils have lost that forecheck game they had going for them, and the Penguins have been able to get through the neutral zone finally, and they've developed some good offense, even though they haven't registered many shots.
Well, both teams have only 3 this period. Now, why does the clock show 17-18?
It's supposed to be 17.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Well, yeah. Does it affect our clock? I'm not sure. But they're about 10 more minutes on the clock than need be. Well, here's Sikora. Sikora pinned up by Warenka. As you watch this from the blimp, looking on that zone. Kept alive now by Arnott. Flipped in front. It squibbed right in on Barrasso, and he covers, and play is stopped.
Nice play by Jason Arnott. He went right back to the blue line after Danico pinched all the way down past the hash marks. And just a little play like that forces another face-off in the Penguins zone. Arnott playing center ice, an intelligent player. He read the defenseman pinching, moved right back in, and did a good job to keep the play alive. Now, who knows what will happen on this face-off, but it just adds to the percentage of trying to find some offense. And Robbie Patorn told us that the Devils try to be a very creative team on draws. When you get into a tight game, sometimes it's offense on face-offs that make a difference in a game. That could lead to a game winner. So a percentage play, and it's all because of the smart play by Arnott.
They are just verifying that the clock is right now. It's been changed to 6:54. Just an extra 10 minutes added. And Dan Mariuelli is satisfied with that.
And we'll try to take a look at this play now. Whoops. That's Danico, the left defenseman. You're going to see as he moves in. Watch him move in. He wants the puck, wants the puck, wants the puck. He'll move in with his man right there. Look at Arnott just jump in behind, keep the play alive. Throws it down low. Next thing you know, there's a face-off that just happens, and the Penguins won it. Sometimes face-offs lead to offense.
And that was Herdina who won that one. Stevens knocked it down. Stevens again to Breland, but it's kept alive. Backhander by Hatcher. Squibbed in front. Oh, Brodeur got that bouncer that changed direction and took a hop right in front of him, and he hangs on.
Yeah, it was going up and it ended up going down. It changed speed and direction, and Brodeur able to hang on with Jagr standing right there looking for any type of loose puck. See, Jagr sneaks down low, puck to the blue line, then back down low. He actually pushes his defenseman, Dean, away. Watch Jagr sneak in behind Stevens. Now watch him give the defenseman, Dean, a shove here. Right there. Just a little shove with a stick knocks him off balance, but Brodeur beat Jagr to the puck.
McKay trickled it on, kept alive by the Penguins. Herdina around behind Stevens, a little trouble with the referee, but then it's deflected on by Breland, and then he's wiped out by Hatcher. Heavy hit by Hatcher. At the 25th anniversary of the Pittsburgh Steelers in town, any of them watching would nod approvingly at that one, especially guys on the steel curtain. Here's Dean knocking it ahead. Gets it back again from Stevens. Breland walks it on. Sergei Breland ahead, drops it on back. Stevens a drive, pass, stop Barrasso. Rebound forced wide by Stevens. Ave Holik there. But both goaltenders are now starting to really show something. There haven't been a lot of shots on goal, but the ones that have come have been really good opportunities. Barnaby sparring across the way with Stevens, and who gets caught?
It was going to be an offside play. Barnaby trying to draw a penalty. The Devils have not been shorthanded in the game. They both I think, are going to get minors here. So a chance for Jagr to see some ice time with Scott Stevens in the penalty box. I don't think Barnaby would be upset with this play. I think he tried to draw a power play. Now, this is Barnaby and Stevens here. It's a very slow developing 3-on-2 that just stopped. And Stevens held his ground. Watch Barnaby go right after Stevens here. And then Stevens came back up with a stick into the midsection, so they both got minors. And Stevens has to sit for a couple. This allows Jagr to get some ice time and not seeing Scott Stevens.
Slash to Stevens, roughing to Barnaby. 5:42 to go. And this whole concept has not been lost on the Penguins.
The 4-on-4 now, and I think, Mike, with Jagr, he's got to spend the time on the bench to recoup before he goes back on the ice for another shift. He just can't be in top game shape, knowing what he's gone through for the last 10 days or so with a groin injury.
Moran and Warenka are back. Straka working up front along with Morozo. Or check that with Titov. So they're probably going to use Kovalev and Jagr in the second wave of this, which will be dynamite for them. Here's Straka. Big shot. Save made by Brodeur. Straka cancels with Niedermayer. Titov looks over the front, threw it across. And the Devils shift from defense to offense. Patrick Elias starting ahead. Elias working ahead in a 3-on-3. Hands on now to Bombardier. Bombardier's pass was blocked away. Good opportunity there. And back ahead with it is Titov. His pass cut by Niedermayer. Steps right back in. Scott Niedermayer holding. Has Sikora gliding by. Tucks it on back. Worked back into Peter Sikora, then on for a shot that went wide across the net mouth from Brendan Morrison. Back come the Penguins, 2-on-2. Niedermayer getting back to make it a third Devil. It's dropped to Titov. Fought off by Brodeur. Titov again! And he hit off the nub of Brodeur's stick. It's Odeline punished to the boards by Straka. And on now to Ralston. Halfway through the 4-on-4 play. Ralston gave it up to Dallas. Odeline and Niedermayer on defense for New Jersey. Bringing it ahead is Dallas. Pranked a shot that went wide. Jagr is not on, and there has been a change.
Yeah, he's standing on the bench. He wants on the ice, but the coaching staff have changed it. They're going with Hrdina and Miller here. This is interesting. No Scott Stevens, 4-on-4. Maybe they just feel that Jagr can't skate well enough to cover the space, as there's more space with fewer players on the ice.
Morrison wedged out of the play. It'll be an icing touch-up, and icing waved off. Andrusak brings it ahead in the last 20 of the 4-on-4. 4 minutes to go, second tied at 1. Andrusak spin it around. It went away from the reach of Brodeur. Back it comes to Slater. Looks over the traffic, decides on the hard around. And that's strong side Devils as the Penguins are changing.
And here comes Jagr with only 3 seconds to go. Actually, no. He's not even. He's standing on the boards. He's sitting on the boards. The 4-on-4 expired. Stevens will stay on the ice, and here comes Jagr. A little surprising.
Oh, I guess. This dug out by Bobby Holik, gone back to Dean, shot, blocked away by Barrasso, taken by Kovalev. Kovalev wanting to turn by, Jagr closed off, puck kicked back along now, Bobby Holik feeds one off of Breland, gotten by Straka, and Straka steams ahead, he's got Jagr with him and gives to him. Jagr crosses, fed to Kovalev, on the side of the net, they couldn't finesse it in. A broken play on the pass that was wide, and Straka couldn't knock it home. It would have been a miracle goal had he been able to score it, because he was behind the end line and almost entirely behind the net.
Right, that play would not even have developed if Kovalev had not made such a good play in front of Barrasso. Then he got in on the offense. That was a good counter by the Penguins. Oh boy, 3 minutes to go, second period. That's Alexei Kovalev. Watch him really battle in front there. Breaks up the pass. Now he heads up on the right side. He'll take a beautiful pass right here, and watch Dean, the defenseman. That would have been a goal by Straka, but Dean got back and covered the pass up. Here's Kovalev going back. Look at Dean with that little chip play. Oh boy, Dean almost put it in his own net. But Dean made a great play just chipping the puck away from Straka, or it would have been a slam dunk. 1-goal Pittsburgh lead on the play. And Kovalev, great play defensively to set up the offense.
He has been the Pittsburgh hero in this series so far. It is Brodeur. And it's pushed along into Breland. Dumped along, and Randy McKay ties up Dallas. Bobby Dallas given a shove by Danico. Puck ahead. Devils unable to get out with it. Gloved ahead by McKay and taken at center ice, but a pass intercepted by Holik. Holik spirited it through, but off McKay. Cracked off the glass. Forced along by Barrasso. To find a Devils hero, you'd have to name about 3 or 4 guys just by looking at the scoring. It doesn't pop out at you because they're so well balanced. This one poked ahead by Danico. But it is a well-balanced team that has been held to just one goal. Danico came up high on Jagr. Forced across now, Jagr on to Jan Hrdina. Hrdina sized up by Elias, and the two of them cancel. Olich brings it ahead with just 2 minutes to go, second period. Plays it back in, comes obediently to the bench for a change in line. Sikora held back from behind. It's bunted in deep. Wawrinka turns with it there. Rammed high and hard by Elias, and Wawrinka went down. Thrown around behind. Elias stood up by Wawrinka this time. Crawling to the ice, Sikora as it's thrown to the front, but broken up, and Straka starts a 3-on-2 ahead with Titov. Titov had trouble controlling, now has it. Feeds it across. Shot by Kovalev is brought down. Controlled by Straka. He's got Kovalev behind. Delayed penalty call coming up against New Jersey. Twisting with it is Wawrinka. Flipped one that popped to the corner, and with that, the Devils will get control. And it will be a Pittsburgh power play with 1:25 left in the second.
Patrick Elias back in behind the play, takes the hooking penalty, so the Penguins go on their first power play of this game with 1:25 to go in the second period. And we do see, of course, Jagr on the ice to begin this power play. Kovalev looks like he'll play the point. 4 forwards out there for Pittsburgh. Ralston on the ice, a tremendous penalty killer. He has a shorthanded goal in this series. And Bobby Carpenter for the draw. Kokorik, the head coach, just loves the way Carpenter works on faceoffs.
He'd like that one too. Stevens flipped it along. It's kept by Hatcher. Jagr hit by Danico. Lang to Jagr. Stevens on him. Bumps it. Brown. Jagr. Didn't have both hands on the stick to get that one, and it is Stevens laying it back out. Stevens and Danico in back. Carpenter and Ralston up front. It is Brown and Jagr, as well as Lang up front. The pass comes to Lang. Lang look. 2-1 on goal. Saved by Brodeur and punched to the corner. Danico turned it back off. Kovalev slipped it to the corner, but it is Stevens there to just blast it back down the ice. So an uneventful first 45 seconds of the power play for the Penguins. Down to the last 38 of the second period. Alexei Kovalev moving it ahead. Blocked by Pandolfo, pushed it in deep. Brodeur out of his goal. He swings it back off the glass, and even Jagr's height didn't help him stop that.
Smart play, boy, by Brodeur. He got to the dump in.
Brown over to Jagr, twisting with it. Watched by Stevens. Jagr feeds. Hatcher drives, and it went wide. Rebound hopped in the air. 17 to go in the period. Niedermeyer rubbed it back along the wall, and again the Penguins will drop to neutral ice. Flicked on, but right to Brendan Morrison. Guided it across, and Hatcher intercepts and starts it back. Laid it on to Jan Hrdina. Moving on in, and went across the ice, and it went away from Titov. Down to the last 2 seconds of the period. That'll do it.
And that means, what, 34 seconds to go on the power play to begin the third period.
1-1 at the end of 2 on the new Dodge Intermission Report. Susie Kolber, bonus coverage in the John Elway retirement. Score is 1-1 at the end of 2. Susie Kolber will be along with the new Dodge Intermission Report after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. Splendid performance by a hurting Jaromir Jagr and his team today. There is hope, but also cruel possibility the team could play its last game after 32 years today. That will be left to the distant future, now to the immediate. First of all, the statistics. Breland, third goal of the playoffs. Straka, fifth goal. Jagr, 14 shifts. Played just under 15 minutes, 1 shot. Power play has begun, and he is out there, as you would expect. 28 seconds of power play time is clicking off. Crowd chants, "Let's go Pens." The scoreboard didn't tell them to do it. Their hearts have. It's Hrdina around behind. Works it onto the back. Hatcher collars it there. Hatcher back on to Jan Hrdina again. Points it to Straka, then to Jagr. Under his stick, Stevens hooks it along. Jagr retrieves. 3 seconds to go power play. Jagr left it on in. Miller chipped one that was blocked away by a diving Danico. And then they battled for it, and it came back out as Elliott, fresh from the box, wanted to get it to Brian Ralston, but instead it's Moran.
I think here in the second period now, the Devils, they get the mission accomplished in the penalty kill. Their forwards have to have a stronger third period than what they showed in the second period. I didn't think their forwards did a whole lot of anything, and the Penguins controlled the majority of that second period.
The Devils had 4 shots on goal in the entire second period. Pittsburgh had 7. Team's back at full strength as it is flipped well back down for Bombardier to take. Might have been an icing, but the way it squibbed, it just died like a golf shot. Ahead now comes McKay from 90. Wide of the outstretched glove of Barrasso. Follow-up comes from Bobby Holik. Tee-off on him. Straka flipped it around behind, and it is Wawrinka to take it on defense. Big defenseman tried to connect to neutralize, but it's Bobby Holik laying it on back. Niedermeyer. Bombardier couldn't reach. Tee-off could. Very cautious play, as you'd expect. Low-scoring 1-1 tie. Pittsburgh facing elimination. The Devils leading 3 games to 2. If there's a 7th, it's Tuesday back in New Jersey. Back across to Bobby Holik. Swings one ahead. That's off McKay, and it bounced right in on Barrasso. Flips it back ahead as the Devils are in the midst of a change. Danico denied there, and turning back with it is Elias. Elias puts on the brakes. Fed one over for Sikora. Tripped up on the play. Drilled back off of Sikora and well down the ice, and there'll be an icing touch-up if Odeline gets there first. He does.
Take a look at what Jaromir Jagr did during the second period here. He jumped on the ice, was able to find the puck and dart right on through. On that play, his shot hit Straka. Here's a 2-on-1. That's the only shot on goal he's had in the game. This was Jagr exhausted after a long shift on the bench, but he's been able to recover and actually played about 2 minutes more during the second period than when he played in the first period. And I think he's gotten strong. And of course, always a factor. Only the one shot. He set up 4 by teammates through the first 2 periods of play in this one.
You'd have to think there was quite an opportunity for Pittsburgh having Jagr rest a whole 15-minute intermission and be out for that short power play at the start. But it didn't come to him until late.
Herdina and Arnott again. Scapanello, the linesman, making sure. Herdina, by the way, was 12 and 8 on faceoffs through 2 periods. He's pretty good on this side of the ice. He just drives it back. See, he's good at that. On the other side of the ice, when the linesman straightens him out, he can't turn his body as much, and he struggles a little bit over there.
Peter Sikora defended off by Herdina. Sikora tried to fight his way to the front. Herdina up with it there, knocked away by Elias. Elias fed, and it's flipped around behind by Sikora. Arnott for Elias. Moran on him, but Elias escapes. Fed one that went off Moran's skates. Chipped at by Elias, slugged around by Titov, pinching his Odeline to the half boards. Brushed into him by Herdina. He poked it further, but now it started back out. Kovalev moves ahead, just nudges it back in deep. Danico will take it there. 2:50 played, 3rd period. Neither team has registered a shot on goal, but a penalty coming out.
That's a good call on Kovalev. Mike, he hit at his man 3 different times. The referee let the first 2 go. He got caught the 3rd time. Kovalev is caught at the end of a shift. He gets caught up by, I believe that's Elias. And then you're going to see Kovalev get mad. 1 shot, 2 shots, there's another one, that's the 3rd shot, and then the 4th one, bang! That one, finally, the referee watching the whole thing made the call. There's a little cross-check. That wasn't called. And then that one finally was Kovalev in the box. He took 3 or 4 pushes at Elias before it was finally called.
Miller and Hatcher to work for the Penguins, along with Kessa and Slager. Those are the 4. It is Holik's line with Randy McKay and Sergei Brylin up front for New Jersey. In back, Walston and Odeline. Battled for, and Brylin able to force it to Holik. Knocked away from him by Hatcher, moving in as Ralston. Ralston tried to feather it through, but it is connected and thrown back out by Slager.
So Mike, on that call, the referee tried to be tolerant. He tried to let it go and let the players decide, but when you get caught pushing at the same player with your stick 3 or 4 times, then finally he's going to be called.
Odeline shovels it back in. Wawrinka drilled it back around, and it sailed into the seats. Not a major penalty in this series. Only 1 fighting set of major penalties in the entire NHL so far. And it has been all minors except for 1 late game misconduct to Scott Niedermeyer. That has been it. It has been a hard-played series, but largely clean.
Mike Eaves and Don Jackson, the assistant coaches, helping out Kevin Constantine. Talking strategy, what the Devils are doing. Are they changing things? What to be ready for? Mike Eaves was a very sharp individual working as a player, playing a lot for the former coach Bob Johnson, Badger Bob as we knew him and all loved him. Learned a lot about the game and the strategy of the game. So the Devils make another change in their power play.
Morrison off the faceoff. It's helped to the back. Arnott along to Elias. Chipped it further. Chopped on for control by Straka. Lays it across for Moran. Halfway through the power play for New Jersey. 4 minutes gone, third period, tied at 1. Jason Arnott brings it ahead. He's got Sikora and lays it off to him. Sikora escapes ahead, tries to get by the defense. That doesn't work. A wall was set up by the Penguins. Now it's Morrison. Morrison pestered from behind. Punches it back in deep. Bobby Dallas goes to get that. Dallas cranked it back around off the glass. It skipped off Straka's stick, but is taken by Niedermayer. Half a minute to go, power play. Niedermayer able to step ahead, gets by one, staggers but controls. Feeds it onto the back. Sikora to Arnott. Drive! Score! Deflected en route. I think it went off Moran and then slowed down a lot and slithered its way through. New Jersey has a power play and has broken the tie.
21 seconds to go on the power play, and Niedermayer did the work. He got the puck in the zone, and watch him keep his balance here. He finds the puck. He's going to be tripped up a little bit by Jagr at the blue line. Watch him keep his balance beautifully. Just a great job by Niedermayer. Now the puck's moved across for Arnott. Remember we said shoot the puck off the pass? He's a right-handed shot. You don't have to stop the puck and turn your body. You just blast it. And this is actually deflected once, twice, and then 3 times. Twice it hit people on the way to the net, and then it hit the goaltender Barrasso and found its way over the goal line. 2-1 Devils. A huge power play goal. Kovalov was still in the box. There's the shot. 1-2 deflections. I think the man in front, I'm not sure who that was. Is that Holik or McKay?
I think it was Niedermayer.
Niedermayer. Yeah, maybe Niedermayer, right.
Well, here's Bobby Carpenter. Carpenter on the outside. Pandolfo rammed by Jagr. Pandolfo twirling with it. Pandolfo dribbled one. Carpenter tried to punch it on through, but it's collared by Jagr. Set up for Hrdina by Barrasso. Kick high off of Dean. Good anticipation by Carpenter. Able only to hold it center, and then has to get help from Stevens.
I think you're right. That had to be Niedermayer. Holik and McKay would have been on the ice. That was Niedermayer who went to the net, and I think deflected the puck.
Jagr spun one. Stopped by Breland. 2-on-1 moving in with Holik. Tried to pass it across in a beautiful defensive play made there by Jagr. Now it's McKay fighting his way. Tucked one in front. Oh, and it was just away from Breland. Thrown back out by Hrdina. Cuts past ahead, and it's Lyle Odeline. Odeline jammed it around behind, taking it. It's got Stevens. Stevens with a pass. Went off of Holik. It's Jagr moving on in. Jagr! Hooked off by Odeline. And that broke a tremendous play down. Odeline is going to be given a minor penalty for the hook, but it might have been a tie game.
It's the Devils by 1. Jagr will find the puck. Odeline with a hook. And then another play where he puts a stick up into Jagr. So Odeline goes for a couple of minutes for a hooking, and Brodeur found a way to make the save on the play. Of course, now the power play starts. We're going to the second power play for the Penguins.
Titoff stepped into. Jagr is not on the ice just yet. Carpenter cleared it back down. Carpenter, Ralston, Stevens, and Danico for New Jersey. Brown and Straka working up front. Robert Lang will also be a part of this power play, and German Titoff and Hatcher. Hatcher, nice move to get in. Now pivots and gave it up to Ralston. Ralston just backhands it slowly down the ice and comes to the bench for a change. Morrison, as well as Pandolfo up front. The defense remains the same for New Jersey. Ahead they come. Straka has been denied by Pandolfo, and it's through the whole playoff side, and so a neutral ice face-off to result with 41 seconds on the New Jersey penalty kill gone.
So the referee, Dan Marawelli, stands right at center ice and stares at the 2 benches. Puts his arm up right now. You see him there with his arm up? That now is telling the Devils you can't change anybody. So now the out comes a fresh group of power play players for the Penguins, and that of course includes Jaromir Jagr. So Jagr got the rest after drawing the power play, and now gets a minute and 19 seconds to try and even the score up. Stevens stays on the ice, by the way. Well, what a year he's had. He's had a great season, and he might, the plus-minus was super. He plays against the other team's best players every single night. I think he deserves more credit than what he gets.
Or maybe they'll have a defensive defenseman trophy sometime. I know there's the Norris Trophy for best defenseman, but he would get strong consideration.
Al McInnes will win that this year in St. Louis, which is my guess.
It makes sense. Thrown back off, and it's Straka. Because it goes to guys normally with a big point total. Hrdina sent down by Stevens. Ahead now, Straka. Laid it back off. Hacked at, and it came off of Stevens and had to be battled away by Brodeur as the shot came from Rob Brown. 50 to go, power play. Hatcher ahead. A traffic jam. And Brodeur comes out. Brodeur swings it back down.
Second power play for Pittsburgh, and twice Brodeur has done just that. He has helped his penalty killers, throwing the puck right out of the zone.
He makes that look really easy.
Oh, he does, doesn't he? What a great help that is to his defenseman. You can't throw the puck in, because he'll just get it and throw it out.
Straka hustling ahead. Straka moving on in. That one tipped to the wall, and Carpenter foisted it back out.
Carpenter and Ralston started the penalty kill, went off, and then came back on. Boy, did they do a good job.
Brodeur comes out, swings it back off the boards. It kicked off of Jagr, taken by Lang. Lang tried to center, fouled there by Bobby Holik. Stevens comes by. Down to the last 4 seconds. Play stopped.
That at least allows a face-off with only 2 seconds to go on the minor penalty to Odeline. It allows the Penguins to maybe find a way to get offense with the man advantage for the face-off only. As Steve Lattin has just returned to the ice, I think he had Alexei Kovalov having an equipment problem. Yeah, I think, you know what, I didn't realize that. I don't think Kovalov played on the power play at all, and he's a threat. So Kovalov had an equipment problem, missed everything but the last 2 seconds here for this power play.
Well, apparently his stick was okay, even though he gave it a little bit of a workout on Ken Danico early. Must have been a skate. He's poised there, hoping to tie this game up. 2 seconds left on the power play, and he's got it. High off of Brodeur. Rebound! Thrown away by Danico. Kessa had a whack at it. Kovalov and shot! And it went off of Danico. Flipped along by Niedermeyer. Darting to it is Breland. It's chopped away from him. Brodeur gloves it and steers it the other way. Put it off the glass, and that's enough to get it to neutral ice. Breland. And down went Kessa. The whistle is blown because the play is offside. Penguins fans want a penalty, but don't get it this time.
You'll see Kessa going for the puck. Breland lifted the stick up. Fans here wanted a penalty. There was no penalty. It was called on the offside. Breland, I think, thought he was being called. Didn't realize it was an offside whistle. And I don't think there should have been a penalty either. When you lift the stick up, it's perfectly legal.
Holik prevails from Herdina. Bombardier put it back in. Barrasso swings it. Breland waiting. Tried to force it to Holik, but it kicked on back for Stevens. Stevens flopped it back in. Onside play. It's given up to Holik. Oh, and a player down. I think it's Randy McKay.
I think the stick of Slager, when he tried to fire the puck out of the zone, the follow-through caught McKay in the face. He went down in a heap. He's checking his teeth out, obviously, below the nose, and he's been cut. Oh, goodness. No penalty on the call. It was just a follow-through on the play. Nothing will be called. So McKay will have to go, I think, for repairs. Teams in the playoffs bring their own doctors with them on the road. And the training staff checking out to make sure the teeth are in place. You'll go right to the locker room, I think, Mike. Yeah. And get repaired as quickly as possible. And because it was a play where a Devils player went down and was cut, and the faceoff now comes outside the Penguin zone, be a neutral zone draw. Well, these referees, and watching this game, Marawelli again is right there. See him with his arm up? He has been really good here. This is one of the benefits of a 2-referee system. He has been just perfect in making sure the coaches change lines properly. The arm is up because the Devils have already had their opportunity to make a change. He then has Pittsburgh do their stuff, and then he skates back to get into position. And he's also over there when they're making changes after a whistle, so there's no stuff going on at the benches. I think he's done a great job, these referees, in that area.
I think the only detractors to the 2-referee system have been Roger Nielsen publicly, the coach of the Philadelphia Flyers, and the tough guys who more often get caught with little chops. Not necessarily the fighters, but the guys that usually get caught on those sequences. They have to shape up their game a little more, which is the point. Arnott dumped it back off, then followed through, laid it back to neutral ice. A 1-goal game with lots of time left. 11:10 to go, third period. The teams are at full strength. The goal of decision right now, a power play goal by Scott Niedermeyer from Arnott and Sikora. And it's scored in this period. Titov ridden off by Bombardier. Kovalev working the outside. A couple of swats came from Arnott. Forced on through. Titov flipped off the glove of Niedermayer. Oh, and Straka couldn't get control as Brodeur was testing him. Jabbed on around by Arnott, and then he's mashed to the glass by Kovalev.
Elias had something to do, too, with Straka. Hooking at him a little bit. Straka couldn't get the shot.
This is Odeline back. Knocked loose by Straka. Flipped to Titov. Shoved by Niedermayer. Fed to the back. Slager is shot. Save Brodeur. Punched along by Titov. Wheeled back to the opposite side by Bobby Carpenter. Spun by Pandolfo, but into Hatcher. Then it careened out to neutral ice. Ralston trying to force his way from Slager. Ralston pivots and swings one that Pandolfo heads to the corner to play it. Wanted to beat for Carpenter. See the conception of the play there, but it didn't pan out. So now Slager glasses it. Dean with a nice closed knees keep. Throw it back around the area behind the net, and it's handled by Pandolfo. Pandolfo battling to a side with the Penguins on the board. Came back over to Kip Miller, lays it across, and here's Slager moving it ahead. With a drive, that's a hard around play, and he got it over for Jagr, but it went by him. Now Andrusek. Jagr out there, not far away from him is the Devils captain, Scott Stevens, who has been his safety patrol boy today, except when he was in the penalty box in the second period, and Jagr did not come out and play.
And Stevens only 17 minutes through 2 periods, so he should have a lot of energy left to play as much as he has to here in the 3rd period.
Dallas. Dean. Bobby Holik. And out of play at the Devils bench. 9:11 to go, 3rd period. The Devils up 2-1. Time for the check of the game, brought to you by Canada Dry. Randy McKay is the guy who threw it. And the guy who didn't like it much was Titov.
McKay had 2 sticks by the end of the play.
It's not legal, is it? Randy McKay is off, getting some stitches after being cut around the face. We've not seen him return yet.
Here's the play, Mike. As you see the shots, the Devils 15 of their 20 in the 1st period. Pittsburgh carrying the shot total, and in this period 5-1, the only shot they gave up has been a goal. A power play goal scored by Niedermayer on the deflection.
McKay's line is out there, but Vadim Sharafyanov is working his side, along with Holik and Breland. Lyle Odeline, shouldered by Matthew Barnaby. Morozov bent it to the back. Lang hurried it over. Andrusek shooting, and it's deflected into the seats. The only celebration this period has come from Scott Niedermayer on the power play. His team is ahead in this one, trying to put the Penguins away.
You see Scott Stevens sitting on the bench. The faceoff is just inside the Devils' blue line. As soon as the referee said no more players for New Jersey, you've got your guys out there. Then Jagr was told to step on the ice. Now this is an important faceoff. If the Devils win the draw and move the puck out of the zone, there's going to be a quick change and Stevens will be back on the ice. If the puck stays deep in the Devils' zone, Jagr's going to have a chance to work offense without... now watch this. See, look at this. There it goes over the line. Here's Stevens.
Elias shot, the pad stop made by Barrasso as the Devils were able to spring Elias off the faceoff. It's put off the back of the goal. Elias again. Oh, and knocked down from behind was Sikora, and he comes back with a menacing stick in the direction of the guy that got him, and that was Kovalev. Flip back long now. Kovalev drops back. It's taken on by Sikora to Elias. A shot on and fought off by Barrasso. A big save there by Tom Barrasso. 8:20 left in the 3rd. New Jersey ahead in the series, 3-2. Ahead in the game, 2-1. Devils have made another change. Boy, what a wall. Thrown right back in, and Brodeur comes behind to paddle it with the stick, and it went through Hatcher. So the Penguins have to recoil. 8:05 showing on the clock. It is Jagr. Took some lumber from Pandolfo, but not a lot. Carpenter puts it back into the glove of Barrasso. Laid back out. Stevens there. Carpenter and back in.
Stevens has got to get off the ice.
It's Morozov. Wide with the shot because of Odeline. Jagr is off the ice. Stevens is not. Moran a shot, and that one deflected down by Morozov. Odeline sealing on him. Stevens still out there battling. Stevens able to take it and then lay it back out to Pandolfo. He's got Ralston breaking. Ralston and Hrdina mutually holding each other's sticks for a moment. Now twisting with it is Ian Moran. Moran able to take his own pass off the wall and steer it ahead. Works it back on for Hrdina. Jan Hrdina looks over the traffic. Penguins in the midst of a change. And he gave it up to Bobby Holik. Holik for the Devils, back on to Sherifyanov. Sherifyanov a shot, and that one held by Barrasso, and play is stopped.
Holik got surrounded and knocked around a little bit and just really got right out of there, knowing that he didn't want to turn around and take a penalty. His team has the 1-goal lead.
Coming up next week on Fox, our Stanley Cup coverage continues with the conference semifinals, 2 Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. No return of Randy McKay yet.
Big game tonight with the Toronto Maple Leafs hooking up with the Philadelphia Flyers. Toronto with a 1-game lead. Of course, Carolina and Boston want to come back for Boston. Raymond Port played a ton in that last win for their hockey club in overtime. The Anson Carter goal. Buffalo resting. Hasek trying to stay in the zone. And of course, right here, the Devils 7 minutes, 1 second away with a 1-goal lead of putting away the Penguins for this series.
Bombardier laid it along for Arnott. Centered, but off the back of the goal. Thrown back off for Matthew Barnaby. Barnaby has to drop back deeper and bang one around that he'd hoped would go to Dallas, but it didn't. Karam's back out and is handled by Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer tried for Elias and it went back down. Arnott racing back. Dallas there too, and Dallas got there first. So it's an icing and the face-off to come back near Brodeur. Probably too early for him to return now. Stevens is not out. It is a tremendous cat-and-mouse game.
Oh, it is. It's really something. And again, Constantine, the Penguin coach, really waits. Now here the Devils tried to sneak Danico on the ice. The referee just blew the whistle and said, "No, get back, get off, get back. You're not coming on. Forget it." And the Penguins now changed all their players, and Danico has to climb back over top of the boards. So you're going to see Danico here. The referee's already got his arm up. Now here's Danico coming over on the right side. See it over here? And the referee says, "Oh, you can't do that. That's a little sneaky." So he blows his whistle and says, "Get back." And Danico getting back to get on. And that's, again, with a 2-referee system, they've done a good job with the line changes.
Jagr's out. Stevens is not. Puck flipped over to Elias. Tries to work out. Can't. It's back to Jagr. Jagr leaned on. Jagr fed one to the back. Hurried shot went wide from Jiri Slager. Straka there. Canceled out by the reach of Niedermeyer. Funnel up from Titov. Shot one. Knocked down by Jagr, and it's whipped wide. Jagr again. Wiped out in the corner. Turns with it once more. Tries to work it around and can't. The battle, and 6 players involved. Tipped back out and rushing for it is Sikora. Slager came across, followed up to Kovalev, feathered it on, and it's Jagr walking in 2-on-2. Jagr crosses. Jagr moving around in front. Save Brodeur. Slager and drive. Oh, and Brodeur got that one. How on earth did he ever get it? He was flat on his backside.
How about the hands of Jagr moving around Scotty Stevens, and then 2 giant saves.
Straka moving in. Straka holds, shoots wide. All the way around. Kovalev flipped one, and Brodeur tapped it up over the back glass and into the seats.
What a shift by Jagr and his team. Jagr started it with a deflection right in front of Brodeur, knocking the puck down, but wide. Look at him, he's cruising, he's yelling, he wants the puck, he deflects it wide. Watch him go hard into the boards here, he loses his balance. Boom! But he stays up and gets going. Watch the hands here. Stevens off the bench, playing on a 1-on-1. Look at the hands. Save. Now watch this blaster. Oh! And Brodeur kicked his left leg up in the air and knocked the puck down. Slager knew he had to go high. Slager knew he had to go high. That's Slager right here. Watch him move in. Brodeur just keeps stopping the puck and stopping the puck. That's the best sequence of saves in this game that Brodeur's made. 3 in a row. Beautiful goaltending. Great plays by Jagr. Great plays by a lot of different players, but Brodeur stopped it all.
The towels are waving again. Lang on the draw with Holik. Drive by Warenka. Ricocheted wide. Taken by Kip Miller. Couldn't center because of Stevens. We get a stoppage of play. A hand pass is ruled against Pittsburgh.
Bring the face-off outside the zone. Well, these Penguins, you know, they're admired here in the city of Pittsburgh because the effort, and they play a gallant game. And here they are. They're going against what I think is a better team in New Jersey. And they're battling and battling and battling and still in this thing and seem to find a way to always hang into a game. First half of this game, the Devils were by far the better team, but they only had the 1-goal lead. The Penguins tied it up, and then the Devils got a power play goal as Mario O'Neill looks on, his team behind with 5:27 to go in this third period.
Olik and Lang on the draw. It's won by Lang and played back ahead by Warenka, who put it up into the seats off a Devil's stick. 5:23 to go. Isn't it interesting that the 3 professional sports franchises in Pittsburgh are all being celebrated this weekend? The Pirates with just a routine game, but also a squad that has delighted people around here by not being one of the better paid teams in baseball, but being highly competitive and right around 500 in the early stages of this season. Their slogan is, "We play for the thrills, not for the bills." Then you have Mario Lemieux gallantly trying to get this team and bail it out and save it. And these guys outmanned. They're playing the 3-time Eastern Conference regular season champions. They won 2 games without Jagr already. He comes back gallantly today. And the Steelers celebrating past glories with their 25-year team here. Boy, you put it on the line for these people and they love it. It's that way in every city. But particularly in this one. Morozov. Then Miller out in front. Lang couldn't get a shot away. Loose puck jabbed aside as Randy McKay is back and made a defensive jam. Thrown out to the front. McKay able to roll that one back down the ice.
You called that beautifully, Mike. McKay dropped down low and picked away at the stick, or there would have been a clean shot as the Penguins are just doing everything here but getting the chances. When they do, Broneur has certainly been there.
Two best face-off men for their teams. Carpenter for New Jersey. And off this face-off, it's thrown to the front. I beg your pardon, that was Straka. I thought it was Herdina. I beg your pardon. Anyway, it is tipped back out. Slager there, battled by Ralston. Follow-up from Bobby Carpenter. Then over to Ralston. And Kovalev took over there. So Alexei Kovalev with 4:40 to go in the third period, and his team down by 1. Straka, who has the only Pittsburgh goal. Freeland and Niedermeyer have scored for New Jersey. It is Dean putting it off the glass. Ralston couldn't reach, and it goes all the way down for an icing. Let's check in with Susie Colbert.
Right, Doc, we've got Phoenix and St. Louis tied up at 3. Jeff Finley with a shot. He comes out. Pierre Turgeon behind the net. Back out to Finley. Puts everything into that one. Blues up 4-3, trying to stay alive.
Let's watch this play. What a kicking play by Morozov. And here's a scoring chance. The puck doesn't get through, and a great job by McKay on Warenka right in front. Just a great job. As the Penguins have forced the play here and forced the play as we only have 4:22 to go in the third period here. It's approximately 10 minutes left in that game in St. Louis, with the Blues holding on to a 1-goal lead and hoping to force a 7th game.
Terrific, isn't it? Well, here's Danico bringing it ahead. Tried to lob it ahead, but it went out of play at the Penguins bench.
All these face-offs. It looks like the Devils right now are saying, I'm going to keep Scotty Stevens on the ice just in case they put Jagr out there. Just in case. Now, this one is outside the blue line. It may allow for Stevens to go off the ice, which he does. And I'm just looking across. Do I see Jagr? No. Yes, he stands up, and here he comes. So, Niedermeyer's the left defenseman. He's now moved himself over to stand just inside the blue line. So Niedermeyer's over. He's using the left defenseman. He's moved over, and he's standing right in front of the bench. There he is. Watch him go to the bench as soon as he moves the puck here, and Scott Stevens will jump on.
An important face-off win for Jason Arnott, and Arnott knifes this one away further. Off is Danico, on is Stevens.
Yeah, actually, they're now pairing up Niedermeyer and Stevens.
It is teed off after this. Sikora gave him some lumber. Under 4 minutes to go third period, and Pittsburgh still needs 1 to force overtime. Slager brings it ahead. Pass is on to Jaromir Jagr, wanting to get by Niedermeyer. No sale. Brought back up now by Arnott. Wanted to chip it across. Arnott on the follow-through. And he is reefed by Kovalev.
There are 4 forwards on the ice for offense for the Penguins. Kovalev's playing defense.
Straka looks over the traffic and drifts around near Stevens. Straka fed one back to the point. Kovalev drive, deflected, knocked down in front. Looked like Slager got a piece of that one, and Stevens lays a pass that is across 2 lines and not by much. for Randy McKay.
Well, Kovalov played defense when he was a kid growing up in Russia. There's a number of times this season where the Penguins have played 5 forwards on the power play, including Kovalov on the point. And here, it's a situation where it's desperate for the Penguins. They need a goal. So Kovalov's back playing the point. You see the puck move back to the blue line, and watch in front. Slager, the defenseman's right in front, and the shot hit his right skate. Never got through to Brodeur. Kovalov did a good job keeping the puck down. And there it hits off the inside of the right leg of the defenseman standing in front. That was Jerry Slager.
Now it is Hrdina to take this face-off opposite Holik.
Yeah, Miller back at the point. Still 4 forwards on the ice for these Penguins.
Another important face-off win for New Jersey. Pass caroms on back, and it's Miller. Pestered by Randy McKay. Kip Miller dropped it back off for the cycling Morozov. Lays it back over now for a play to be made by Miller again. Kip Miller brings it in, feeds it on the cross. Shot by Lang, blocked down. The Devils have an odd man rush. It's Freeland back onto Bobby Holik. A 3-on-1 with McKay. It's McKay shooting. Save Barrasso!
Now Miller playing the point, moved in, tried to make the play through the middle, and it was intercepted. So Tom Barrasso had to make the game saver for his team. That's Miller on the, or Lang on the puck, and you see the instant turnaround. Here come the Devils, 3-on-1. And Holik's a passer, does a good job here moving. Look how far out Barrasso is. So Barrasso stutter steps across, is there, and the shot is put right into him by McKay. McKay had to deal with the puck just a little bit to get everything that he could on the shot, but Barrasso nicely got across, or that would have been it. Set, match, season, everything. Barrasso comes up big. He hasn't had much work in his third period, but since he gave up the power play goal on the deflection, he's made 3 or 4 good saves. Kovalov right back on the ice with Jagr's unit. Banako's out there with Odeline, so Scotty Stevens, I think, will be on as soon as he can again. I hate to keep bringing that up, but and you can see right away Odeline's gone to the bench and Stevens on the ice.
Drifted back there like they might be changing up again, but no, it'll be Niedermeyer and Stevens. Bobby Carpenter will come off, and another important face-off, this time an offensive zone one for New Jersey. Jason Arnott will take it opposite Straka. Neither of these men are above 500 going into this game in face-offs over the series. The 2 Kings have been Carpenter and decisively Hrdina. Niedermeyer forced along into the glove of Elias, and he guided it on back. 2:40 left, third period. Jagr is out there, so is Stevens. Slager, but Elias ties up with Straka, chips it ahead. Sikora laid it on further, but there was no room as Slager put his big body right into Sikora, and the Penguins can start it back.
Well, now the Devils have fresh forwards for the second half of this shift.
Jagr to Titov, twisting, fed one in front, score!
Did Jagr chip it in? The Devils had the defenseman they wanted. They changed forwards, but the Penguins were persistent and get the goal on the rush. Kovalov moves the puck. That's Jagr. He'll now drive to the net with Niedermeyer on him. Puck's in front, and I think Jagr chipped it in underneath Martin Brodeur. And Titov got the puck to the front of the net. Look at Jagr's strength. Now he's got to go past Niedermeyer and get his stick open. Titov goes around Stevens. Niedermeyer changes, and Jagr jams it home to tie this thing up at 2 with 2:12 to go in regulation. Oh, my. Niedermeyer and Stevens switched and took a split second for Jagr to get open and jam the puck underneath Marty Brodeur. Titov in front. The puck sat there for a split second, and Jagr with his strength jams it home.
Titov and Kovalev get the assist. It comes with 2:12 left. He was so excited I didn't notice him to make his normal salute. He raised his arms. He usually takes his glove off, does a salute. We didn't notice at that time, but he's tied the game, and the people here are going nuts. 15,376. short of capacity. If Pittsburgh wins, there'll be another 20,000 that said they were here. Fed along to Morozov. Moran. Kip Miller. Turned over to McKay. McKay nudged it back in. Holik was still there, offside.
Well, they're just standing here in Pittsburgh. They love it. Jagr able to play and play hard and able to score the tying goal. It's been a courageous effort by the captain of the Penguins. Here's Jagr moving in, heading out of his own zone now on his off wing. Will find the puck here to keep it alive. A little give and go. Now Niedermayer will see Titov switches off, and all of a sudden Jagr's got room on the inside of Scott Stevens. You call that the good ice, and Jagr able to tie it up.
Well, Moran with 100 seconds separating these two teams from overtime. Puck turned on now to Kovalev, shakes it back in, and it's Straka. Martin Straka sides up and rammed by Danico. Oh, Titov around behind, Arnott on him. Titov then working in a lot of traffic, slipped one glove down, Titov again, knocked down by Danico. Titov tried to jam one in front, scramble, thrown on back, Wareka, save Brodeur! Elias laid it back out. Oh, baby!
And this will be icing. Marty Brodeur and Danico come up big, and Titov, what a last 5 minutes of this game he's had in regulation. Oh my, did he make some plays. The Penguins do everything but win it. Big hit by Danico on Straka. Here's Titov, and this is what I mean. Look at one hand on his stick with Arnott on it. Keeps the play alive. He's still got the puck. In front. Here's going to be a shot. Danico blocked that one, and here comes the big save by Brodeur. The puck will go back out towards Rook. We won't see it.
Quick face-off, and the puck sailed up into the seats. 1:03 to go, third period. Game tied at 2.
Here you see the Penguins working the puck. Danico goes down here on Titov and blocks that one beautifully. The play still alive. Titov tries a jam play there. And here comes the point shot that Brodeur got up and made the save with his right shoulder.
Out of the log jam, the final minute of play regulation. Herdina's shot went wide. Randy McKay sent it back down the ice. And again, there'll be a stoppage of play on an icing.
Timeouts still available to both teams. Face off deep in the Devils zone to the right side of Brodeur. Scott Stevens is staying on the ice just in case of. Jagr now heads off. 47.7 seconds to go. Third period, 2-2. Straka, Kovalev.
The tie-up, it is Danico putting it around behind. Scott Stevens tipped it further. Kovalev up with it. Throws one that is grabbed off by Titov and then lost off of Elias' stick and back down. And again, the Devils will be guilty of icing.
This is 3 or 4 in a row by the Devils. You know, when the Devils took the 2-1 lead, the Penguins started to gamble, and Barrasso made 2 or 3 big saves. He has not had much work in the second half of this game, but Tommy Barrasso made 2 or 3 key saves to keep his team only 1 goal behind. Now the fans cheer here once again as guess who? Jagr steps off the bench. So he got a 10-second rest. He's back for more. Face off to the left side, the near side of Brodeur this time. Straka taking all the draws and Arnott taking all the draws for the Devils.
Chopped out by Arnott. Again, it will be icing. Moran goes back. Wins the race. 23.2 to go in the third. Every face-off crucial, and it's interesting that Arnott has been the big man for the Devils here, and he's been winning them.
Yeah, he's been pretty good here late on the draws. Shots are dead even at 24 apiece. The score is even at 2-2. Arnott's been taking the draws against Straka. Now the Devils make a change. Will they stay with Arnott? Yes, they do. No, big Bobby Holik's coming off the bench to take the draw. Arnott won the last two, one on each side of Marty Bordeaux's goal net. And Traka goes off, and it's Hrdina to take the draw. Hrdina's been the best face-off man in the series. Well, he tried to just drop it back in behind him so Jagr could control the puck. Let's see. Stevens can't go until the puck's dropped.
Danico. Jagr fed it to the back. Hrdina. Then on to Jagr again. Jagr, who tied this game up, went down on the lean of Holik. Back ahead, Freeland with 10 to go. Freeland angles it back in. Yuri Slager goes back to get it. Spins with McKay, and they bump the boards. Kovalev put it behind. Bobby Holik turns it there, out in front. The horn sounds, and Freeland was trying to coast to get a backhand toss ahead.
There's a Devil player inside the net. Randy McKay was pushed hard into the net by Slager. So we'll have a 15-minute intermission, then we'll have some overtime play. What a battle this has been. We're going to see McKay go to the net with Slager. Oh, baby. Been a rough one. Been some good stuff at both ends of the ice. And these Penguins, they refuse to die.
Susie Goldberg. Highlights, bonus coverage from St. Louis, all coming up right after these words. Jaromir Jagr scored the one that has forced overtime with 2:12 left in regulation. Titov and Kovalev assisting. 2-2.
There in overtime, the Devils trying to put this series away. Now, they call the NHL playoffs the second season. True enough, it lasts 2 months. But that also gives us an excuse to look back at the best of what got us here. No shortage of spectacular moments as we present the plays of the year.
That trickles to the front of the net, and Steve Seals with the save. Shot hit the post. Rebound, Osgood down one. Thinking between defenders, Beardow score. Newsy turns, score. What a goal! Number 506 for Patrick Waugh. Madonna takes it away. He's in. He fakes. He scores. Faking, spinning. Beautiful goal. For it is Ralston. Ralston moving in, lifted when he scores! Surtout quand on réplique. Oh, Brodeur, qui is present front, saved by Van Beestrom. Sundstrom working the bell, Holmstrom, he fakes, he waits, saved by Hunter. Open is Robitaille in front, double, scores! Oh, what a goal! Lost it, breakaway, Jeff Friesen all alone, he scores! Moves up, lead pass to Jagr, trying to beat the defense, goes down, he's pulled down, scores, it goes there! He smoked him like a bad cigar. Gretzky in front, saved by Flaherty, the rebound, score! Number 1072 for Wayne Gretzky. Gretzky beats Schneider, but in front of Gretzky, score! A feed from Gretzky came across to the slot, and it careened in.
I wanted this to be a celebration because I feel so lucky that I was able to play in the National Hockey League. Thank you all very much.
Gretzky.
Ready for the start of sudden death overtime. Bud Light statistics. The shots on goal even at 24. Scoring chances 13-11 Pittsburgh. The Devils by 11 on face-offs. Penalty box is empty. Devils lead the series by 1. The game enters sudden death overtime with a Stevens shot on Barrasso. Jagr, of course, as you saw, is out there to start the overtime too. He's been playing right wing on the line with Hrdina and Miller. Slager gives a pass over for Miller, but he had trouble controlling, and it was offside. So 16 seconds in, play is stopped. The Devils have lost the last 5 overtime contests. Lifetime 5-13. Over the history of the franchise, 10-8 for Pittsburgh, 1-1 against New Jersey. Tom Barrasso is 4-4. Martin Brodeur 3-9 in sudden death overtimes in the playoffs.
And Mike, you always wonder about Jagr sitting after 60 minutes of a game in which he played in the neighborhood of 25 minutes. He comes out after the intermission, 15 minutes long, and he skated really well here in the first 16 seconds of overtime. Skated real well.
A couple of minutes more than he played in game 1 when he was really healthy. Bobby Holik wanting to shake his way in, and pulling by is Breland. Breland turning around behind. Worked on by Hatcher. The puck carried over to Jagr. Laid one for Miller, but instead it's collared by the defense. Kevin Dean starts it back in. Hatcher pivots, dumped it away from McKay. Brought on by Miller, laid across for Slager. He has to wait, then drub it ahead. Jagr dips on back. Misfired for Slager, so rushing back in is Bobby Holik. The two of them go to the corner. Jagr, the third man, given a good shoulder by Randy McKay. Puck kept alive by the Devils and turned back in near Holik. Jagr tries again, but instead it's McKay. The bear hug by Jagr. McKay trying to kick it along. The two-a-side war on the wall, and stepping by is Straka. Chucked away by Elias. Loose puck out in front, and down on his back when Bobby Holik gets brought back ahead by the Penguins. Worked back on for Straka. Tied up by Scott Stevens. The feed is over to Jagr. Knifed away by Niedermayer as he wanted to shake by. Niedermayer with a pass. It's broken up by Titov, and then an offside.
A long shift to start the period for people like Jagr and Slager and Holik. And Holik thought he had a scoring chance. He was pulled down, and then he jammed the butt end of his stick right into the midsection of Slager, right in front of Tom Barrasso as he went for the scoring chance. So some hard work on the very first shift. Holik was thinking about going to the bench for a change and saw the puck turned over, so he stayed deep. Now you see the battle along the boards here. So watch Holik go to the net here. He's being held up. He'll go down, and then he reaches up and he just throws the butt end right there into the midsection, but the referee was in behind him. So Holik got away with it.
Ken Danico back along for Niedermayer. Pretty good forechecking by Pittsburgh. Danico's pass slugged on goal by Warenka and kicked aside by Brodeur. Danico again pitchforks it back out. It's just swatted down with one motion with the glove of Moran. Drubbed right back in, and again waiting is Brodeur. Arnott's line with Sikora and Elias for New Jersey. Jason Arnott had that bounce away. Moran slugged it back further. Played back along by Danico. Collared by Arnott and worked back across for Scott Niedermayer. Niedermayer tested there by Warenka. Puck squibs through. Sikora behind. Sikora trying to get a centering pass away. Moran won't let him. It's off the back of the goal, but taken by Straka. And lobbed back out by Kovalev, who was given a cross-body block by Pandolfo.
Pandolfo finishes and checks really well. Now the checking line on the ice for the Devils, as is the checking unit for Pittsburgh.
Morozov steps back in. Morozov down to the ice he goes. Sprawling go Morozov and Niedermayer. Barnaby picked it up. Barnaby worked it through. Niedermayer tried to play it ahead. Barnaby able to force it on. Backhander went wide.
Penalty.
And a penalty coming up.
You see Morozov, who almost drew one earlier, this time is down on the ice. They're lying with a good shift here. Barnaby had 7 goals in the playoffs last year. And it looks like there was a, as you see, an upper lip injury. Morozov draws the power play. I believe that's who it is, right, Mike?
Yeah. See if it's going to be a 2 or a 4 here.
The high stick you can call a 2 or a 4 or a match. It certainly won't be a match. But it's probably, I would think, a 2. So the Penguins, with Niedermayer going to the penalty box, will have the chance to put this away on the power play. Morozov is right in here. The stick was right up into his face. Yeah, the referee had to make that call as Scotty Niedermayer had the stick went right up into the mouth area. And Niedermayer sits for 2 minutes. It's a high sticking call. So the power play goes to work. One more look at this play. You'll see Niedermayer will get to the inside and reach up with a stick. The outside to the inside, and then, oh boy, really inadvertent. But he did catch him below the visor. So Kovalev starts on the point with Hatcher for the power play. This is interesting. Lang, Titov, and Jagr. No Straka.
Bobby Kotick conversing with the coaching staff upstairs. Hatcher with a drive, and it went wide. Stepping to it is Stevens. Dumped back along off of Kovalev. Brought ahead and worked on to Brian Ralston. Ralston a drive. Oh, and it's grabbed by Barrasso.
Is that a rocket? You and I had the opportunity to see Ralston play at the Olympics in Europe. And we saw Ralston use his shot time after time after time. And does he have a beauty? This one here, he has to get rid of it so quick that he gets it a little higher, I think, than what he wanted. And it's a rocket. And Barrasso had to really react, catching the puck right in front of his face. Maybe it was deflected in. Let's look at this. Off of Hatcher. Yeah, maybe not. It was just a rocket. And Ralston does have a shorthanded goal in the playoffs. Keep that in mind.
Patrick Elias will take this face-off with the Devils shorthanded. He and Sikora out there. Danico and Stevens the defense. Just 13 seconds into the power play for Pittsburgh. Jagr laid it over to Titov, and he'll glide back. Interesting. And Kovalev. Kovalev plays it on. Erdina, then Jagr has to wait. Flung it across. Titov. Lost. Has to play it back. Kovalev. Jagr. Not in yet. Punched away, and Elias has it. Elias lays it ahead for Peter Sikora. Sikora with a shot, and it went wide.
European influence on the power play. 4 Europeans and 1 American, and they didn't seem to want to throw the puck deep. It's all carry the puck, and it hurts them again. It was a regroup and a carry, almost an offside, a regroup, a shot towards Barrasso, and then a carry and an offside. So 55 seconds of power play, and the puck did not get over the Devils' blue line.
So traditionally, the European players would go back on a power play.
And regroup, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's a great style, a great system. But here in North America, the North American forwards can sometimes throw the puck deep and then go in and since you're on the power play, you outnumber the opposition to try to recover the puck. Jagr gone to the bench. He stays on. The only change here is Kovalev goes off. Straka plays the point, and Brown now goes up front for these Penguins. Mike Ralston and Carpenter, they get as much penalty killing time as possible for these Devils. They start the penalty kill, sit half a shift, and get right back on the ice.
Hooked across by Jagr, taken by Straka, worked on by Stevens, and he flips it out. Here comes Ralston again. Ralston waits. Picks up a man, it was Danico, and put it off the tip of his stick. 50 to go on the power play. Sudden death overtime. The Penguins trying to force a Game 7 on Tuesday in New Jersey. The Devils trying to put them away, but they're shorthanded. Hatcher spun it around behind. Jagr waiting for it there. Tapped it on back to the corner. Lang up with it. Gives back over to Jagr. Jagr dealt it back in. Bennett Brown. Oh, a save made by Brodeur on Lang. Or that would have been it. It's Brown behind. Tapped to the corner. And thrown back down the ice by Danico on goal. Devils in the midst of a change. Straka hurries it for Brown. Couldn't come up with it. Straka twisting, trying to find his way in. Does. Shot blocked away by Danico. Straka again up with it. Tries to center and can't. Danico banged it back around. Penalty time is about 4 seconds to go. Worked back along by Elias. Erdina wanted to take it, and it popped out of play at the Devils bench, and now Niedermeyer will be dismissed from the penalty box.
Jagr on the puck. Watch Lang in front. Brown hits him, but it goes off the heel of the blade. Never got the clean shot, even though Brodeur made the nice save. Watch the bench. They see it, can't believe it. That was a great quick play by Jagr to Brown, but then even a better pass in front to hit Lang for the shot. Ooh, boy, tough on the line. Sitting into a recliner. He's okay. Scotty Stevens was on the side of the ice, and Jagr finally got the puck past him and down to Brown. This is tough, you know. You got to see Jagr every shift. Scotty Stevens, just a warrior, trying to regroup now to get ready for the next time, if there is a next time, to go opposite Jagr.
Full strength action. Bobby Holik to take the draw opposite Jan Erdina. Erdina on the game of 60 minutes was 1 under 500. Bobby Holik was 1 over.
I think it made a difference having the linesman work on Erdina to make sure he straightened his body out before the puck was dropped.
Warenka crisply across. Morozov's pass is off Holik. Morozov starting it back again. Morozov a shot, and it went wide. Bombardier closed off by Kip Miller. Puck along to Freeland. Wants to tip it further. No, says Moran. Lobbed on by Bobby Holik, and the Penguins recoil. Verdina with a pass came right over to Holik. Then back across for Bombardier. For Holik. Walks it ahead. Bobby Holik with a shot that is grabbed by Barrasso. Put right back into play. Went off of Holik. Skipped on back for a keep by Bombardier. But a follow-up by Morozov. Morozov wanting to shoot. Chased right off by McKay. McKay brushed it ahead. The Devils might get an odd man rush. Moving in at Freeland. Freeland trying to finesse his way by. Shoved off by Andrusek. And then Straka. Freeland taken out of the play by Andrusek.
Andrusek, a good skating defenseman, and it showed there. That would have been a 2-on-1, but Arnott just fell. He just lost his balance. At center ice, down he went. Or it would have been Freeland and Arnott on a 2-on-1.
Intentional offside on the Devils. It'll come back near Brodeur.
Two goals scored in the third period. Niedermayer on the deflection. It was a power play goal. Kovalov in the box. And then, real late in the period, Jagr jammed it in to tie it up. 2:12 left on the clock when that happened. And that leads us into overtime.
28 shifts for Jagr. 28 minutes, 29 seconds. 3 shots on goal. 5 shots set up. Inspiration to his team. Scored the tying goal with 2:12 left. Both of these goalies have been here before, Tom Barrasso and Martin Brodeur. Intense, tight situations.
Right, the Devils using Arnott a lot more on draws as this game's moved along.
Elias punched on by Danico, kept by Kovalev. Elias with another try, brushed it into traffic. Elias again, with help from Sikora, got it all the way back in. Barrasso guides it aside. Warenka taking on defense. Nearly 6.5 gone here in the first overtime. Some good work done by Sikora to force Warenka to have to throw it behind, and then they just fly it back down. Danico goes back for this, no icing. After him is Kovalev. Tips it around behind for Niedermayer, and Niedermayer just shunts it back to neutral ice. Straka flipped it ahead. Chip back on for Titov. Titov moving in. To the corner from Niedermayer's check. Titov fighting his way, wanting to get to the front. Oh, and he rammed into the back of the net. And the net dislodged and play is stopped.
Titov and Niedermayer. Titov, as this game has moved along, has been terrific for the Penguins. Here he tried to fool everybody, not go behind the net, but to the front of the net. And he was smothered by Niedermayer, by Brodeur, and the goal net. Titov is a great defensive forward. Some say the best on the team. Goes wide on Niedermayer, changes direction, speed, loses the puck. Now, does he go behind the net? No, he jams it in front. He was met off and cut off at the pass by Scott Niedermayer. Niedermayer makes a good play here. Titov tried to shield Niedermayer off with his right leg, but it was a good play by the Devils defenseman Scotty Niedermayer. I think Titov's been great in the third period and in overtime.
Now Lang is pointing down at the face-off area, wanting the linesman Ray Scapanello to do something pertaining to Bobby Carpenter, who won the draw. Stevens, bunted down by Dallas. Matthew Barnaby, taken out by Pandolfo. Forechecker is Pandolfo. Lang holds behind and then a missed signal, so he'll take it. 7:15 gone in the first 20 minutes of that overtime period. Matthew Barnaby forced it back in deep, went to get it. Barnaby around behind. It's knocked over to Brown. Brown fed one. Unable to get much of a shot away. Andrusek trickled on for Brown. Brown trying to fight his way to the front. With a pass, it came back to him. Spun one, and it was blocked away by Brodeur. It is Dean for the Devils defense, shaking it on back for Carpenter, then back ahead to Dean. Dean with a pass across that's tipped over. Andrusek after that and peels away from Pandolfo. The Devils on a change of line. Bobby Dallas lays it back ahead. Brown up with that one. Brown nearly run to the ditch by Breland, dropped it back in, and Bombardier is there. Penguins in the midst of a change, so it's Odeline. While Odeline's pass went away from McKay, Barrasso will let it go, and there will be an icing. And the Devils are really complaining because they rule, or they feel, that the stick was held back and he couldn't actually make a play.
Nonetheless, the call's made. It's icing. No television timeouts in overtime. Changes the strategy of the coaches. They can't rest their better players and get them on for successive shifts. Jagr's been on the ice for 1:30, and then another shift for 2 minutes and 2 seconds here in overtime. So each shift, a long shift in overtime. 12 minutes to go now in this first overtime period.
So that's about 3.5 minutes of the first 8 that have been played.
See, Mike, again, the linesman, Ray Scapanello, was talking to Hrdina to get him to straighten out for this very important face-off.
He wins it to Jagr. He gives it to Slager. Slager steps by. Fires! Save! Rebound! Punched in front and hacked along, and Slager will retreat to neutral ice. Drop back off. Bobby Holik hands it across. Breland a drive. Pads up Barrasso. Fed back off. Randy McCabe trying to knock it ahead. It's in traffic, but picked up by Hatcher. Now Slager. Long toss to Kip Miller. Lays it ahead, and turning is Hrdina. Rammed by Stevens, and it's tipped ahead in the race on. Moving forward at Sikora. Getting there, Warenka played it up the boards, and it's Miller. Devils take over. Niedermeyer off Sikora, bringing it ahead is Jagr. Jagr trying to get through, can't. The defense closed ranks. Warenka flipped it across. It's brought down. Jagr in front. The pass didn't get there because of Stevens. Stevens fired it back off the board.
3 big plays on this shift by Stevens. 3.
Straka trying to get by. He does. Plays it across. Goal! Jagr!
You see the play kept in the zone. Got Stevens on the puck. He's run into by Arnott. The puck's moved out. He's thinking of a change. He's been on the ice a long time. Neutral zone turnover. Watch this pass by Straka. Just a bullet of a pass. A great finish by Jagr, and this one's over. Look at Straka work the boards. The Devils' defense were caught on the ice for a long period of time. The Devils never got the puck deep at all in the neutral zone. Jagr moved in, and watch this finish. Right up over top, beautiful finish. The Pittsburgh bench watched this play develop. They can feel it, they saw it, and there'll be a Game 7 in this series. What a great comeback by the Penguins, and their hero, Jagr, tied it up late and won it in overtime. And here's the perspective of the Devils from their bench. They can feel it. This Straka play along the boards and then a bullet of a pass was just beautiful. You can see that Elias could not get back in time to find Jagr, and Mario Lemieux can celebrate his team finishing this one with a win.
Today's New Dodge player of the game, Jaromir Jagr, the one that forced overtime, the one that forced Game 7. Susie Kolber on the other side. The fans haven't started to leave yet. The final score, the Penguins 3, the Devils 2. It goes to 7 on Tuesday.